my friends, my pals. How are you doing? Hi, 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 hi. I live! As much as a ghost can, at least. Hee hee. Wake up! You can never make me fully wake up. I'm always at least a little bit sleepy. Alright, 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 alright. So sorry for being so dead for a while. I'm back and I got you some true crime. Hi, Chippy. My kitty hears me talking and she's like, oh, for me? Kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. Okay. It could just be the sugar talking, but I got this like fruit punch tea thing and it is bussin' on God respectfully, sheesh. No cap. Stayed up till 4 a.m. questioning my life choices. Oh no. I'm I'm much too sleepy pilled to do that anymore. We mean unsubscribes. Be quiet. Bonk. I'm going to put a little text doodad. Man, goodness gracious, that's really big. That's what she said. Hold up. We're gonna make you black. We're gonna squeeze you down yonder. This is the title of the video. Man realizes friend fed her worker. I could spell workers to pigs. But explore with us. Let me see if I can make this more legible. Finally, our queen is back. I'm tired and in pain at the same time. It sure is lovely for me. How come you're in pain? What happened? What happened? Let's see, can I make this a little thicker? It's like 4 C's. Do I have any of like... Yes, I do. Hold up. I saw it. I done seen it. Oh, Oh, let me put it in the middle. Let me put it in the middle. Can I give it a stroke? I sure can. So I'm gonna cheat and make it thicker with a stroke. There we go. Oh! Oh! Too thick. Too big. Too big. It's thriving. Can I please? Please let me move it in the middle? Maybe up here? Tap. Tap. There. So when people inevitably ask, What is this? The answer is right in front of our eyeballs. So today, okay, so I love this channel. The main guy that like voices these videos has like the most soothing voice. It makes me want to curl up and take a nap. Any whoosies, this is a video. It's an interrogation and a little bit of background information on some sort of true crime story. I think I've watched part of this before, but I don't remember any of it, so I'm just about as fresh to it as you guys are. So, let us begin.
This never-before-seen footage is one of the craziest interrogations you'll ever see.
Ever.
I grab your hair and strangle you with it.
Oh my gosh, why would you say that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
She's a fucking weirdo, and she held me over and laughed. I would like to see how fast my.
Also, I just realized that a part of your user is snow in Japanese. I could be stupid at times. That's why I got little hints of snow-themed themajigs.
More gruesome crime. He found the
It's because I love
remains of a
snow.
human leg just outside of a pig pen.
Excuse me?
Possibly human.
As horrific as this discovery was, the true horrors hidden on the property were yet to be discovered. The farm was owned
She's
by
a snow
Susan
bunny.
Monica, a former soldier who served
But not
in
like
Navy during the Vietnam
fetish
War.
kind.
After being honorably discharged, she purchased the 20 acres of land where she raised chickens and pigs. She often had transient people stay on her farm and work for her for short periods of time. Additionally, in 2013, Susan placed an ad on Craigslist looking for some extra help on her property. She was contacted by 56-year-old Robert Haney, a handyman and carpenter. In exchange for payments in cash and a place to stay, Robert began working and living on Susan's property. However, all was not well. And in September 2013, after working for Susan for about 6 months, Robert disappeared. After a few months with no contact, his children tried to find him, but Susan told them that Robert had left her employment, taking most of his things, and vanished.
This is another living area. Tool belt.
Not the too bad.
He claimed that after he learned that one of his relatives had been a victim of assault, he began drinking excessively before suddenly leaving. Hearing this was distressing, to say the least. But Robert's kids couldn't find anything to indicate that something bad had necessarily happened to him. In fact, they found very little trace of him at all. However,
Would Yugi
it was
own
especially
piggies?
odd to them that he appeared to have left his trailer.
Do I seem like a hog wrangler to you?
Eventually, they filed a missing persons report with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. But since Robert was usually paid in cash for
I
his
feel
work,
like she
there was
would.
almost no way to track him down. Everything changed on January 10th, 2014, when an officer came to investigate Susan's property. However, he
Susan.
wasn't there to look into Robert's disappearance. Instead, Susan Monica was being investigated for fraud after she was caught using Robert's food stamp card.
Ooh.
This is the inside of Susan Monica's living area, where we contacted her this morning.
Her living area?
We arrived.
With all due respect, she lives in a
It was
dump.
while
What the
walking
hell
along
is
the back
all of
the
that?
farm that the officer found the remains of a human leg, cut about mid-femur.
Pig owner
lying
who
just
called their
beyond
pig
one of
crispy
Susan's
bacon.
pig pens.
It's really good.
Other bone.
Susan Monica was brought in for questioning. The following footage has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney and former criminal prosecutor, a licensed clinical psychologist, a former licensed professional counselor, and a clinical counselor.
You know they say that human meat tastes like pig meat?
The interrogation will uncover even more dark secrets that detectives never expected to find.
Well, this is a warrant, and it's just says you're commanded to search the property.
Before the interview begins, Susan asked for the search warrant the officers first used to come onto the property to be read out loud. As you'll see, she has a very interesting reason for asking them to do this.
And the lot number indicates you as the sole owner since 1999. And
There you go. Say that again.
the sole owner since 1999.
Okay, we're done. That warrant is inaccurate,
Okay.
and
Huh?
so I figure if it's inaccurate, how do they put it? Any and all information received in a warrant that's not correct is
Okay.
not
Well, you know that I was talking to you about Robert Haney's Oregon Trail card, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why does she
And
sound
we
like a
talked
man?
about
Be
how a little
nice.
bit already
Even though
about
that
how
she's probably an absolute
he
critter that doesn't deserve respect. Be nice.
3.5 months ago.
Something.
Trying to jump out a window
Before he
and say
disappeared.
sour
Right,
bells?
and he
Yes,
gave you
that's
the
why I
PIN
wanted
number,
to
which you
go
had
on.
memorized.
Yes.
The
No.
interrogator is trying
Silence.
to establish a timeline of
Wait,
Robert's
that's her. Yes,
movements
that's her.
before
That's
his
her.
disappearance. This is always done as the timing
Also,
of
hi,
events is
welcome.
usually important evidence, and it's also
Everybody
done to
say
see if the
hi.
suspect's timing
Also,
matches
Chippy's
the
here.
evidence.
Hi, Chippy. Everybody say
So
hi to
that,
Chippy.
you had
Hi,
sometimes put up like
Chippy.
the wanted, posting up a thing, a little
Yes.
help around here or
Yes.
there, and so
Don't step on my keyboard.
after he moved to your property, of course, you got to know him a little bit better, which you talked about his drinking, and that he every once in a while he would flip out because of
My
his
cat
drinking,
is
most
not
likely.
stinky.
But other than that,
Right
your
now.
contact with him was
She's bonking the mic with her little booty.
I wouldn't see him for a week at a time.
yeah.
Michael Bales, who worked for Susan and lived on her property for a few months, came to
Hi,
speak
Pastel,
with
welcome.
investigators soon after she was arrested. And boy, did he have a story to tell.
Oh boy, did he have a story to tell.
Good cup?
No, we're both good cops.
Ha 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 ha.
Maybe if there was a reason.
The reason is you.
If we were gonna do that, he'd be the bad guy.
Chippy, please. If you hear Mike bonking noises, she likes to walk back and forth and like rub against it.
That's my middle name. Michael Ed Bales.
Okay, this is just the audio backup. I'll just sit there.
Do whatever you
Smoochie
gotta do.
kitty.
The investigators asked Michael how he first met Susan in order to establish some background on how well they knew each other.
I met her.
Careful,
friend
Chippy.
Brady. I don't even know his last name.
No, let's get off of that, please.
Brady is in a wheelchair up in
Chippy.
Rogue River.
Okay.
And he introduced me to her. She gave me a job.
Okay.
You know, I went up there. I was cutting wood for her. I had nowhere else to go. So I guess you could call me a vagrant or whatnot. And she was pretty nice to me.
Vagrant makes me
And
always
all
think
a
of
sudden,
fragrance.
turned not very nice.
And were you living up there?
Yeah.
How long did you live up
I
there?
guess you could call me a stinky.
Like 3 months.
Potent.
Because Michael lived with Susan and saw her every day, he can offer the investigators valuable insight into her daily habits, as well as into her personality, and he does not hold back when sharing his opinion of Susan.
Susan.
She's a fucking weirdo.
What makes you say that exactly?
She just gave me the EGBGs.
EGBGs.
Sometimes you can tell when somebody's a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
She gave me that feeling.
He's right though. Some people you could just like, you look at them, you just feel the vibe.
Were you living in the barn?
I live
Like,
over
some people
in-
just dead ass have an evil aura.
They got big old. You can't-
We've been through that.
I lived in 2 of the rooms.
Upstairs.
That was my room originally, and then there was a TV that got put in downstairs. So then I moved down there.
Okay, and
That's where Richard lived too. God damn it!
Is it?
Hello, welcome.
Maybe we should get a photo.
Hand sanitizer?
Robert.
Oh yeah, I need to get new
That's
deodorant.
Robert, that's him.
I ran out. You ever like run out of deodorant
That's him.
and then you take the bottom out and then like scrape through the remnants to make it last?
Lived down in the barn in the downstairs.
No, Robert originally lived downstairs,
Okay.
and then he got tired of her screaming at him, so he moved.
I begged my phone died rip.
His trailer's way
Right, I saw that.
way over there.
Okay. And then
He
I've
got
done that
tired of
before.
her
I've done it a
screaming.
handful of times. I'm not gonna
How
lie.
long had he been there? Like
Getting my dollar's worth.
He said, hey, here's my Oregon Trail card, my PIN number. Can you go grab me some beer and whatever else?
A couple months.
No, we are all responsible. Come
Oh,
on.
man, I said I'm going into town. You want anything? He gave
Also,
me the
anybody
card,
else
numbers,
like
get me some beer and coffee.
can't
So you
stand
can't buy
baby powder
beer
smell
with
like me?
Oregon
Like I
Trail
can't
card,
do
so
baby
did
powder
you-
scent deodorant. I hate it.
Use your own
I
money,
hate
or how
it.
did that work?
Yeah.
Okay, what would you normally ask him to buy?
Did you
for
miss
reimbursement?
anything? So far we have this like, I don't know, farm owner here on the left, who is a woman named Susan. And they were also interrogating a fella who worked for her and said that she gave him the heebie-jeebies. Hi, Yugi Buns. Hello, Edwin Deckers. We're not gonna waste a single drop. I can't tell who's innocent, who's a criminal, and who died. We'll get there, I think.
Bread and milk, that was it.
Bread, milk,
Occasionally cheese.
cheese.
Other than that, I've got 500 pounds of pork in my freezers.
Pork.
Yeah.
That fridge looks disgusting.
Keep you fed for a long time, huh?
Yes, and
That's a serial killer's
for the
fridge, bro.
record, if anybody here would like to buy some pork, I have pork. 80 cents a pound. I'm getting ready to get rid of another pig.
The detective laughs and appears to be genuinely finding
I
Susan's
moved too
story
late.
funny. However, it's very likely that he's just trying to put her at ease.
It's
So
gross.
she opens up to him. He wants her to think he's on her
They
side
show
and that
images
she
of
can trust
dudes.
him by
Are they
laughing
the
with
ones
her
who
he's building
died? I
rapport.
think so,
Where
yes.
do you butcher your pigs?
One guy named Robert.
Right there in the barn.
I don't know if he's dead or missing, actually, but people are looking for him.
I don't necessarily
That you...
butcher. I just
Yuki
kind
fridge!
of a butcher when it comes to butchering.
Get out of here. My fridge don't look like that.
No, I'm
It's
good
way
at it.
emptier.
Yeah. The
How do you kill a pig? Oh, what kind of gun do you have to use for that?
22
Like a
Yamete!
rifle or?
rifle.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see it?
No.
You know, everybody was standing around. Nobody was searching. I didn't understand the search thing when everybody was standing around.
Well, we stand around a lot sometimes.
I'm not bald.
Yeah, it was 7 of you
I
standing
have a
around.
whole
Nobody
head
was
of
searching.
hair.
No, I think I was the only one working.
Maybe. Anyway, I have a rifle there.
Yuki's
in my
fridge
house,
is full of carrots.
I'm not a good shot.
Munch, munch,
if
munch,
I'm
munch.
3 feet from a pig, you know, what you're supposed to do is make an X between their eye and their
Okay.
ear, and their eye and the ear, and then you shoot them right there.
And that's it.
And so from 3 feet away, I can I can hit the target. You know, I see a turkey 50 feet away, and I'd shoot it and go, you know, and jump up in the air, and it'd run away. And I'd shoot it again. And one turkey I had to shoot 4 times, and it was halfway down my property before I actually killed the damn thing.
The detective makes an effort to refocus the conversation.
He
after Susan
he's
goes off
chuckling,
on a
but I could
tangent
tell on the
relating to
inside
her
he's like,
method of
oh,
shooting
this
animals.
lady is so weird.
What did Robert
Oh.
think about your pigs? Did he ever help feed them?
No,
Did he ever go into their area?
not that I know of.
Susan exhales when asked if Robert ever went into the pig area. Sighs can be adapter signs of stress, so this could indicate that she's anxious about this question in particular. Although some
Ooh.
dismiss body language analysis as pseudoscience, it is used by the
Pseudoscience.
FBI and CIA during interrogations. When the CIA is interrogating an individual, they look for clusters of 3 or more indicators that occur in either quick succession or all at once. These indicators can be signs of discomfort or uncertainty in what the individual is stating, rather than indicators of deception. It's extremely important
Pigs are
to
so
note that you
innocent,
cannot
eating
detect
anything
deception
without
through
questioning
body
what it
language
even is. They're
analysis
just like
alone.
me, for real.
What did he think of them? I mean, they're noisy at times and
Well, he
kind of
was,
smelly sometimes. And
well, he was, well,
Susan is clasping her hands together on her lap and fidgeting, which appears to be a release of tension and a stress relief. It's not uncommon for people, innocent or not, to be nervous when talking with the police in these types of settings.
Oh, she did. You could tell. She fed him. She fed him to the pigs, bro.
Except when he came up to use that little room.
it's a good conversation piece, though. I mean, it would certainly be something I would talk about if I was going to move there.
Well, we didn't talk. Like I say, he was there, and you know, the 2 of us have talked more today than I talked with him in whatever months he was there.
He had to have been thinking, well, he hasn't returned for his dog, and what's going on here? I'm confused.
Well, I was, confused a little bit, but like I say, even when I saw him, it was sporadic, and sometimes I wouldn't see him for a week.
Looking back,
A good way to destroy evidence. Yeah.
Come to mind that are suspicious to you, or kind of.
I wonder if they could take the pig's doo-doo and investigate it to see if it has human bits in it. I was just having that same thought there for a split second. I was like, wouldn't there still be like remnants somehow?
Knock down trees.
Or at that point, is it just too like broken down?
Fought with constantly.
Even when I saw him, it was sporadic. We didn't talk.
Like daily.
Oh, every day.
Oh,
She would have me go wake him up.
Was she like feeling like he wasn't pulling his weight around the place or something? Or do you know? I mean, did she
I
make
ate dish
comments?
soap. Am I gonna die?
Yeah.
Will you stop? Don't eat that.
What did she say?
That Robert sleeps till noon and
I'm not gonna die, but you'll be very uncomfortable.
work.
Besides Michael Bales, Brady Murray, one of Susan's neighbors and friends, also came to speak with investigators. Brady had moved in with Susan 3 weeks before this interview
I already
took
did.
place
No,
because
stop
of
it.
family issues. And
It's
over
gotta
the
be like
past
some
few
DNA or
years, he's
something.
lived with Susan on
Man.
and off. What he shares with investigators
But what if
is
it
a
like
stark
degrades
startling
and soaks
contrast
into the
to Michael's
ground?
description of Susan.
What did she say about this Robert guy? Like, what kind of person was he?
No, what she talked about him was to me it was good. Didn't seem good. He was a good worker.
Mm-hmm.
She had no qualms with his work.
Am I gonna become a soap woman? You're gonna become a bar of soap that's like human shaped.
She hear him hollering down below. He was in butter. His angel.
What were some of the things that she didn't like about him?
No, I know. She kind of liked his work. Yeah, but she don't talk, really good. And I saw him really good. She, I don't know, 3-4 times the sheriff talked about him. It was all good to me. He's alcoholic. He was a yeller. He'd go down and he'd rant and rave, and she'd hear him hollering.
Back in Susan's interview, the interrogator continues discussing Susan's use of Robert's Oregon Trail card. This card is the same food stamp card that Susan was using
Oregon
when she was
Trail
initially
food
flagged
card?
for fraud.
Was that concerning to you that here he is, he's gone, he's left you with his Oregon Trail card, and, you only get one Oregon Trail card, you know what I mean?
Sus,
so
and
he doesn't have a job, so
Well,
how's he going to get food?
I didn't know that. I figured if he had gone to Ashland and was working, he had money to buy food. That's,
Okay. And so when did this working in Ashland thing come up?
Well, I don't know if it was actual working or not.
Okay.
Susan shifts her foot, likely an anchor point movement, when asked about
keep
Robert
on my
working in
mic.
Ashland.
Whoopsie.
When someone is sitting and moves their feet, back, or buttocks, this is considered to be an anchor point movement. These types of behaviors can be a signal of deception because it's the body's way of releasing anxiety or tension.
And you had mentioned something before about Robert saying that his daughter had been...
Please don't eat
Yes,
more dish
she
soap.
mentioned that several times, mostly when, he got really drunk.
So tell me about your relationship with Susan. You said you've known her for 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, she's been my boss in the past.
It's a bust at the ukulele. Stop.
Casual relationship.
Do you think
Girlfriend.
Colleen Ballinger, whatever, however her name is pronounced, do you think
Brady finds
she
it
would
necessary
feed
to
her
clarify
opposers
that he
to
and
the pigs?
Susan have a casual relationship. Then he laughs nervously. Brady also seems to be shifting around in his chair, looking rather uncomfortable as he speaks. His shoulders are a bit elevated. He seems to struggle when speaking. The inflections in his voice change, and he stutters a bit. These are all indications of discomfort. It seems that Brady is getting increasingly nervous.
Not the first sure. Oh, definitely.
She's
Oh my goodness.
different acting. She does have a lot of temper, but she's not. I've never seen her follow her temper with violent acts.
Okay. So somebody's missing. Who's missing? What do you know about that?
I don't know the guy. I never met the guy. His name's Robert. I understand, right?
Robert.
That's all I know.
The information that Brady is providing to the detectives is now becoming even more suspicious. It seems like he's really trying to emphasize that he knows nothing as well as distance himself from Robert and what happened to him.
What do you know?
Well, what Susan's told me was not a lot. She hadn't spoke a lot about it. But
Hello, hello, you. How are you doing?
What she told me, what Susan told me now, was that he was the guy that was working for her. It was straight. I seen your camper down here. Anyways, and he had told her, I guess she was drunk, real bad drunk, that his daughter or sister, somebody got, and he was gonna go take care of it.
Huh?
And she said he's missing. So, okay. She hadn't talked a lot about it with me.
When talking about the story Susan told him, if you look at Brady's hands, they're ahead of his words. This kind of mismatch indicates the brain in fight or flight mode.
Doo-dooed
There's
her
something
pants
about
during the
discussing this that's
interrogation?
causing Brady anxiety.
He left all of his
What?
possessions behind that you know of?
Yeah.
And that was strange to you?
Wait, like
Well, like I
sus
said,
and
you know,
doo-doo-doo
he
pants?
left with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
so I was under the impression that he was doing something in Ashland.
Hi, Dippy. Oh, she's
he told
headbutting the
me-
mic.
told
She
me,
says hi,
he
everybody.
had mentioned to me one person.
Hello,
in Ashland,
madame. Would you like to
where I might
sniff some
actually go with him
stone dust
to
with
do
me?
an
I am an
engineering job.
advanced stone eater.
So what do you think happened to
What
Robert?
does being an advanced stone eater entail?
What's your gut feeling on it?
Doing good. I
Everybody
wanted to
has their
check
own
your streams
opinions
out for
about
some
things,
time.
but what do you
Okay.
think?
No, I'm not joking. What?
She moves both of her feet when asked what happened to Robert, likely anchor
Have you
pointing
seen this before?
indicating anxiety and possibly deception. However, it's important to not rely on one indicator as proof that someone is being dishonest, because a single behavior could be explained away.
When Bobby had told me that his sister usually got a call a couple times a week, that was when I first kind of thought in the back of my head somewhere that if he indeed went to take care of business, you know, with the thing, that he might have gotten the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, like I said, just the back of my head. I had no idea. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't understand after all this time.
Eep.
If you don't hear from your father for a month, and prior to that month you heard from him twice a week,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't somebody do something earlier? And then when they came out last week, they said they thought he was dead. And I'm saying, you know, why do you think, you know, I didn't say out loud, but I'm thinking to myself, well, if you think your father is dead, you know, why didn't you do something about this months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Susan has shown a pattern of superiority, seemingly thinking that she could handle situations better than other people. Earlier, she pointed out how the police department's search fell short, as she felt they were all just standing around. Now she's blaming Robert's family for not looking for him earlier.
Why didn't you call?
Well, I had no reason to call him.
But he lives on your property for a long time, and he never came back.
Susan hesitates and then sighs heavily, likely another adapter behavior to reduce her stress. She typically responds to questions rather quickly by either providing a lengthy and highly detailed response or saying that she doesn't remember. Here, Susan shows signs of possible discomfort with the question, given her hesitation and deep sigh, which is a deviation from her typical behavior.
I don't know. I didn't think it was my responsibility to call.
What if, let's reverse things. What if Robert was the one sitting here right now, and you were missing? Would you have expected him to call?
Well, yes.
If he's living on your property?
Yes.
Why?
Because because I got up every morning and fed my animals, and every evening I fed my animals, and
what's the difference between you and him?
Because I never
I mean, he's a person too who has a life too. It may not be as involved as yours, but he still has his daily routine.
Well, no, he didn't. He didn't have a daily routine.
Well, he certainly had to
Oof.
eat. He said that he ate food up at the barn.
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily see him.
Okay.
I didn't see him for a week at a time.
Okay.
And
but you would expect that he would report you missing after 3 months.
Well, probably after a few days, because my pigs would be making all kinds of noise,
Okay.
and you know.
Susan,
So,
they found a leg by your house.
Appears to be an ankle, foot.
Wait, they found a whole ass
Joints.
ankle?
a leg.
A human leg next to your place.
When someone repeats a question, this can sometimes indicate deception because the person is trying to buy themselves some time to think. She doesn't appear to be surprised or shocked about this news. However, it's possible that limited facial expressions are typical for her, or that she's good at hiding her emotions. Susan has gone very, very still here. This is called the freeze response. It is part of the
Freeze.
body's autonomic nervous system fight, flight, or freeze stress response. This type of freezing is often a reaction when someone perceives a threat. Though they aren't moving, the person experiencing a freeze response is often extremely alert.
I think it might be Robert.
Don't know.
She says, don't know.
Who could it be?
No idea.
Come on, lady.
Might be Robert.
I guess I should ask where it was. If it was down there by his trailer.
No. It was
Hey,
right next to
hi,
your
how are
place.
you? Welcome.
Just a few feet from your place.
I don't know then. If it were down by his trailer, he might have fallen down the hill or something. But if it was up at my place, I don't know.
That's it.
She's full of bananas. They really think that they're buying that? Come on.
That there's a lake
Come on.
right next to your place.
Very.
A whole ass human leg? Bruh.
Does it concern you?
Yes.
Do you think it might be Robert?
It could be, but I can't understand why. I can't understand how it. I can't understand how it would get there because I can't see him having an accident up by my place.
An
How do you
accident.
think it got there?
Like, you don't just lose a leg, dude.
What's your best
Whoops.
reasoning for how it got there?
Had an accident. There goes my leg. No idea where I left that thing. I'm just walking about perfectly fine.
I have no idea.
What do you think we should do at this point? I mean, are you worried about Robert? Do you think it might be him?
Maybe it fell off, as legs do. It just fell off. Whoopsie.
Find out if it were.
Do you think if we search the 19.99 acres that we're going to
Pop
find
off
any
queen.
other parts of people?
If it's Robert's leg,
Lost it like a fake
guess
nail.
the rest of him is there somewhere.
So you think a coyote drug it right next to your house?
That would be.
We human usually shed our legs. Yep.
What do you think happened to Robert? What did he do?
I have no idea.
Did he do something to you?
No.
You know, you described your property as this, what I envisioned when you were describing it, a really peaceful place.
Yes.
And you seem like kind of a quiet person who would enjoy being out away from people and not, around where things are loud. I mean, you said yourself you don't even have the radio on in the car, and you're smart. You do well with your money.
The detective compliments Susan in an attempt to gain her trust. He knows that Susan thinks she's very smart, and by using flattery here, he hopes to distract and disarm her a bit. And it seems to work.
You like your animals. You like your privacy and the quiet out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you picked the place.
Yes.
Because it's out in the middle of nowhere, really. It's beautiful out there. I think it's beautiful.
Getting there slowly.
So you have this peaceful, tranquil place, and you try to help somebody out, because it sounds like you are a person who likes to help people out.
Yeah.
You're trying to support 4 people right now.
Well,
you're trying to take care of them. You're trying to be good with using their money and helping them out to be smarter and not just drink a 12-pack and get wasted. Right. So you seem like a legitimately good person who's trying to do the right thing. And then along comes Robert. And you try to help him out. But for some reason with Robert, he has these episodes.
This is strategic because the questions about Robert likely sound to Susan that the detective believes she is responsible for his death. Saying that she's a legitimately good person is part of the detective's theme development. He's trying to make her believe that he thinks she wouldn't kill someone for no reason to get her to confess. He wants her to latch on to this line of thinking. She's a good person who made a mistake and had a reason to do what she did. This will likely be much easier for her to admit to, especially when the alternative is that she's a cold-blooded murderer who had the intent to kill Robert. The detective also mentions Robert's episodes as a way of giving Susan an out to explain that she killed Robert because he was being aggressive with her.
And I'm not.
Well,
It's
Brady,
not what you're
Brady,
making up.
well, I mean, Brady has episodes.
Okay,
too.
well, let's focus on Robert, though.
Okay.
Robert had some issues.
Yes.
Everyone knows that. It's actually documented in police reports.
Okay.
It's unclear exactly what the interrogator is referring to by documented in police reports. However, this could be reference to an incident where Susan's neighbors called the police because they heard Robert making a lot of noise. He was allegedly drunk at the time. What exactly transpired before the police
so they're
were
out in the
called
middle
and
of
when they
nowhere,
arrived
quote
on the
unquote.
scene
Would they have
is
neighbors that can
unknown.
hear them?
He was a guy who could get loud and drunk and cause
Man, if I were to
problems.
ever murder, they wouldn't be able to get
ruin
nothing out of that now
peaceful,
that I've watched
tranquil
this.
place that you have out there.
Just feed it to the
The
pigs.
detective is explaining that Susan is a good person who liked to help people, but perhaps Robert got loud and drunk and disrupted the tranquility and solitude she likes to have. He's attempting to give her another excuse for harming him in a scenario that's somewhat understandable to her. He hopes Susan will run with this theory and confess to her true involvement.
No.
I think the detective is
what he did at
lying
He
to make
did that
Robert
at
seem like a
times, but
bad
he
person
was-
to trick
the
Sus
only time
and
that I was
yeah.
disturbed
Yep.
by him was when he was making a whole bunch of noise. And
But you went and talked to him, right?
yeah,
What'd you guys talk about? I mean, you must have certainly, what I would have done is say, hey, you're living here on my property. It's exactly what I said. You're living here on my property.
yeah.
You don't need problems with the neighbors. Keep it down or leave. Get out of here.
Well, I
What'd you tell him?
pretty much the same thing, but I didn't say he had to go. I just said be quiet. Because they
But
were,
it didn't stop with that.
Well, that was the only time that I really heard him.
All right, well, we know of other times.
Oh, well, I don't.
You know,
The
memories are
detective is
funny
trying to
things.
plant a seed of
They
doubt
just
in
seem to
Susan's
run off,
head
just like
by
those
making her
pesky
think they
dismembered
know
legs.
about other instances, leaving her
As
feeling
they do.
unsure about anything
I've lost
else
my
they
leg
might
like 3
know.
times.
In Brady's interview, he goes on to say something completely unexpected
It's
that
a pain in the
shocks
butt.
interrogators.
I can't imagine her.
Okay.
I really can't imagine her doing it.
Okay. Doing what? I don't understand.
Murderers, guys missing.
Murderer.
Brady appears to possibly be intoxicated and is rather incoherent
Did
at
you
times.
find it?
He describes the situation and investigation as a
Yeah.
murder, something which he isn't supposed to know. The detectives jump on him immediately about his
That's
use
why
of
I got
this term,
thigh-high
as they
socks
never
on so
mention
that I don't
murder to
lose them
him
anymore.
and want him to elaborate on this possible slip-up.
You said murder. What do you mean by
Well,
murder?
Susan seems like she might have dementia right now,
So tell me
but
about Robert.
don't worry, it's
How-
selective dementia.
Cool guy. How long
Yeah,
were
I
you
just hate it when
around?
I walk my dog, my leg just falls
Couple
off.
months.
That's the worst.
Yeah. I only knew him for a couple. As a matter of fact, I owed him $10.
Okay.
It sucks. I'm never going to be able to. But he always told me. Every day. I hope my.
Incorporeal.
kids
Just
can
gotta
get
make
my
sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think she's going to kill me.
Oh,
He told you that.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So tell me about that. When, what made him say that? Tell me about his relationship with Susan.
See, I don't know that. They didn't get along.
They didn't.
No.
And she said she has no idea what's happened to him. You know, he's
kids
gone
in Africa can
No,
relate.
I-
Elderly
she had
people in
to talk a lot
Antarctica
about it.
can
When did
relate.
she first start talking about
Legs
where-
SMH.
Is that before you moved in? Did she start talking about, hey, he's not around anymore? Or is that after you moved in?
While talking about Robert, Brady's body language is closed off. Take a look at his feet. Having his ankles tucked up under his chair is not a comfortable seated position and indicates his significant discomfort. Notice throughout his interview whether his legs are out in front of him or tucked away under his chair with his ankles tightly locked. This is another indicator of anxiety and is a guarded stance.
Actually, kind of when I moved in, when we really come out, I realized that, wow, this is big. This guy's missing, and I'm thinking this could get big. About that time.
And why did you think it was getting big? Because, I mean, did she think that maybe he just left? I mean, what was she telling you?
Well,
He leans back, rubbing his head with his hand, all of which are signs of uneasiness.
Stephanie was saying that Stephanie telling that she talked about feeding her pigs to yeah, you guys heard that.
Well, tell us.
I don't to feed people their pigs.
Oh,
Yeah, she made that. She had over here. It's a joke. Mm-hmm. It's a joke. I'm sure it's a joke.
So, well, tell us
But
what you.
Brady insists this is just a joke several times in this short span of time.
It's a joke. I'm sure it's a joke.
People sometimes repeat things over and over to try to convince others of the truth of the statement.
So tell us about what you know about that. Like, she's saying this stuff.
You guys, I really, really seriously doubt. I know her pretty good over the years, you guys. That Susan could do anything like that.
Saying really, really seriously could be considered a qualifier, which is often stated when a person isn't being truthful or is withholding information. Robert says this as he's moving his head back and forth, seeming uncomfortable and fidgety. Typically, when a person is being honest, there are no unusual or jerky
they're trying to make him
movements.
seem
The body
suspicious.
moves smoothly,
Well, I
as in
don't think
Michael's
it
interview,
isn't a
where there's
possibility.
no
Being
evidence of
nervous or
unusual
uncomfortable might
mannerisms or
be
movements.
because of denial or
And,
grievance.
and we're not sitting here saying that
Could even be because
we
some
don't know.
people,
We're here to talk to you,
and
we're here to hear your side.
get
When
uncomfortable
you
talking about their
know,
people.
so
Yep.
there's some.
But I've only joined stream recently, so I don't know the whole story. Usually he like puts a disclaimer that like these analyses aren't like a perfect science, but they're just noting it. You know what I mean? As a possibility. If somebody you knew murdered somebody, why would the actual F would you defend them? Maybe he's scared.
So you didn't actually
Just saying going to jail for somebody who's obviously deranged, yeah.
And when was that conversation you had with Stephanie then?
I don't know. A week ago.
Yeah, in Minecraft.
Yeah, I think I've heard her mention that over the years. I think Susan has mentioned I'll feed her my pigs a few times. I've had pigs forever.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure.
It seems that Brady is trying to reveal bits and pieces about Susan's more negative or
Bits and
concerning
pieces.
qualities, but at the same time, he's trying to protect her. Brady may be doing this in order to protect himself because he might be unsure of how much the detectives know. It's possible that Brady doesn't want to completely claim that Susan is innocent. He wants to reveal some concerns or suspicions about her to cover himself in the event that the detectives discover that she did in fact murder Robert. Michael, on the other hand, isn't trying to hide his suspicions about the type of person Susan is, which is why he presents so much calmer than Brady during his questioning.
Do you think Robert got into the pig pen and they attacked him?
Susan sighs, likely to release her nervous energy.
Well, if you found a leg in the pig pen, I would say that's possible.
Or maybe Brady's also a killer and helps Susan. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, no.
Gotta readjust myself. Oh yeah.
Like I say, I've joked about it.
Wish I had more
I
juice.
have a weird sense of humor.
There's a deviation in her behavior here. Susan's speech isn't as fluent as it typically is. Oftentimes, deviations in a person's usual behaviors and manner of speech during an interrogation is a possible indication of lying. She sounds unsure and hesitant, as if she's watching her words and being cautious.
When I told you that there was a leg by your place, your expression didn't change. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal.
It is.
Well, certainly if I found a leg by my house, I'd be freaked out.
Well, I'm not freaked out, but I'm,
I'd be freaked out.
very surprised.
I would never leave my house again. I'd be like, oh, I'm done. I'm done.
I don't even know that you're telling
I don't
the
want
truth.
eyes
Susan
anymore.
is kind of turning the tables here because the detective has been doubting her truthfulness, so now she's doubting his. She appears to be educated about the fact that police sometimes lie during interrogations, and she might enjoy pointing this out to the detective, as she may think this knowledge is further proof of how smart she is.
I am telling the truth.
Well, I don't know that. You just might be making up stories to get me to say something else. Yeah.
Well, I'm not lying to you. I am telling you the truth.
Well, like I said, I don't know that.
I'm just looking for Robert, and I'm worried that that leg.
Well, this
Is
morning,
Robert.
this morning you were looking for a Oregon Trail card. So, I don't know.
It seems like Susan feels like she beat the detective, in this round at least, because she turns her body towards him in a more confident manner. As she's likely feeling more self-assured, she mentions that finding the leg is immaterial evidence anyways. The detective then
What the
cuts the
hell?
conversation, as he likely doesn't want any tension to build, nor for Susan to build up confidence. Sure enough, when he returns, he makes small talk about Susan's sandwich to diffuse the tension.
You get a couple bites?
I eat one.
Oh, well, just one. Well, you said a couple, not one.
Well, I'll eat another one later.
After the two detectives regroup outside the interrogation room, the second detective begins a new tactic with Susan in the hopes that this will get her to admit to something.
So, Susan, I don't think I introduced myself very well. I'm Detective Eric Fox. One of the things that I do is I'm a medical examiner, deputy medical examiner. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here, is because I help to determine cause and manner of death.
Yes.
So obviously,
Obviously.
there's a human leg there. Okay, it's
Possibly, yes.
Well, it's human.
I'm still
Oh, I've seen this video.
I can guarantee you that.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
And it's somewhat decomposed. I mean, it's been around for a while. Okay, so obviously it came from a person. Right?
Bless you, Pop.
Well, that's like I said, the only.
When she says, like I said, she's using what's known as a referral statement. This is often done to help build credibility. The more someone says something, the more believable it becomes because each repetition lessens our disbelief.
The only logical explanation I would have is if it were somewhere other than in the pig pen,
right,
that a coyote might have
some
grabbed
animal or whatever.
Well, I don't know any other animal.
I've been watching Detective Henderson talk to you, and I kind of got an impression of kind of the type of person you are. That you're kind of a very logical person. You can memorize numbers. You see things kind of linear in facts.
The medical examiner is trying to build rapport with Susan and appeal to her high sense of her own intelligence. He also tries to minimize her lack of reaction to the news of the leg by saying she's very logical and linear in her thinking versus her being a sociopath or guilty of killing someone and feeling no emotion about it. This is an attempt to get her to open up to him.
You know, you into Star Trek at all?
Yeah, I remember Star Trek. I was when I was a kid watching it.
I'm 95% Vulcan.
And there you go.
And 5% Klingon.
So it's right on, right?
By comparing herself to fictional Star Trek characters such as the Klingon, it shows that Susan identifies with violent creatures that have a strong sense of ritual and must do things their own way.
So,
yes.
So
Person has an absolute gamer stance on the chair. Which one?
So you can see
Are you talking about
next in line here, probably.
the main cop, the one that's been talking most of the time?
What's happening? Like you said, human leg.
Yeah.
Or Susan.
The only logical explanation would be, you know, that okay, to go in the other direction. If I had killed him, why would I leave him out by my house?
Right. Well, there's always kill somewhere else, leave somewhere, bury somewhere, and then an animal moves.
Yes, what an absolute lad.
That's always possible too, right?
A judge just doing his job.
Yeah. So that's possible.
Yeah.
Susan begins to appear more uneasy and anxious when discussing the possibility of her killing Robert. Perhaps just mentioning killing him created a fear response in her, as you can hear her breathing become more labored.
She totally
did. As well, she's fidgeting with her hands and her voice is
shaking. Or at least is complicit.
These are all adapters to try to calm oneself down in a tense situation.
So no matter what, something had separated this leg from the main portion of the body and it moved it towards your house.
Right.
In his interview, Michael sheds a bit more light on the state of his relationship with Susan and how it deteriorated.
Because I had gotten upset because she started screaming too much at me. I've been married. I'm sure you guys are married. I don't deal with that very well. I said, go fuck yourself. And I moved out. And then I went and talked to him that same day. Last words I spoke to him was, "I'm out of here, bro. I love you." I shook his hand, and he said, "Dude, I envy you. I wish I could move out of here. She's gonna kill me." And, well, apparently she did.
The other thing that I was kind of interested in, Susan,
Oh, hell
is
no. Oh, hell
here's
no.
a person that came to your house and is now clearly missing, and you
Yes.
hadn't seen him for a while.
Yes.
Are there other people that have came to your house and unexpectedly left their property
No.
and left that place? I mean,
When Susan is asked if other people have gone missing from her property, she makes a couple anchor point movements, such as shifting both feet. She also brings her hands in closer together, which could be a sign of anxiety at this question. Remember this part, because this question about other people disappearing on her property becomes sickeningly important later.
Oh, shit. Oh,
we
shit.
got to narrow in the identification.
She looks a little dazed. Is she on something? No
Obviously,
idea.
we've got to take this and get
Maybe.
DNA
Yes.
and make a comparison.
Maybe you're cooking.
So I'm making sure there's nobody else that we might have to try to make a comparison. I don't want to just assume that this is Mr. Haney, right?
Yes. No. The last person to stay at my property was over a year ago, and his name was Pong. He's a Oriental.
Yeah, she's on anxiety and adrenaline. At least. At least.
He
She knows she's
went
goofed up.
somewhere.
She
I heard
knows.
from him 2 or 3 months ago, and he was thinking about moving back to my place.
Okay. So you know Pond still exists then. He's not disappeared, he's not deceased on your property somewhere.
Well, you have to find him, don't you?
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
bitch, what did you mean by that?
Gosh, my stupid sense of humor.
My stupid sense of humor, ma'am.
What have they told you about this missing person?
Nothing. I don't know much about it. They just get the heebie-jeebies when
You guys
Susan talked about it. It kind of freaked them out. Didn't me that much.
The detective confronts Brady, and he ends his response with an awkward laugh and continues with the jerky body movements, demonstrating his discomfort. Brady's inopportune laugh could be his way of self-soothing or making light of a
That's not the
situation
kind of joke I'd be
he
making in
feels
front of the cops.
uncomfortable
That's
or
all I'm gonna
nervous.
say.
I don't think so.
Sense of humor or not.
They're a little more lyrious. They don't know Sue like I know her. Haven't you guys? Sue, that's all glean. And she's worked for the city and worked for people, you know.
What city
And
does she
she's
work for?
good. She's good body. She's a good person. She's peculiar. You know?
Peculiar.
And that's what, you know. People don't
And
understand.
peculiar means what, sir?
You see her doing it.
Bless my yawns. Okay, I've been holding back for way too long. That Robert guy looks really Italian. He kind of looks like my
Why I say that,
deceased grandpa.
I don't think Susan could do that. I mean that, but I think that now what she told me, I don't know.
I mean, not like
if
100%, but a little bit.
But she was adamant about him telling her that someone who was his daughter, he was crazy drunk about it and screaming and hollering several nights.
Don't worry, that's not my grandpa. That's not my grandpa. That's not my grandpa. Wait.
Crazy about it. It's his daughter.
What the fuck? My grandpa's name is Robert.
Did she ever say anything about them having domestics or fights or anything?
No,
That's not my grandpa though. That's not my grandpa though.
I think she got along with him. She said he was a good worker.
Susan, you're pulling my legs. Stop with the legs.
About, I don't think she did it. I don't
Stop.
think she would murder someone or kill someone. I don't remember the exact words she used. I guess the question we're asking, what makes you think we even think that? Where did this come
Good.
from?
Sue done it?
Yeah, where did this come
Why
from?
wouldn't you think Sue may have done it? Heaven's sake. That's, huh?
Well, he's missing, right?
He's missing.
So, but,
It's on her property.
Don't scare me like that, Dad. No,
This
this I'm
Brady's
not.
word choice here. He
I'm
said
not
it
related
was
to
on
any of
her
these
property,
crimes in
and
any
at
sort
this
of way.
point, he hasn't been
But it's
informed
a
about
crazy
the
coincidence.
deletions
He
of
looks
found on Susan's
like and
land.
has the same name as my grandpa,
people call in, they say, hey, so-and-so used to live here, but
my
they
deceased
left.
Well, you
grandpa.
guys have showed up there. You've been there, you know, and she told me that you guys
My computer fan's
are
being
looking
a
into
dick.
it.
Okay, there you go. So when did she
Yeah.
tell you that?
I don't know, a week ago or.
But why
I
did
know
she?
she's.
Yeah, the reason we're trying to understand what you're saying.
Well, I can understand that. You guys can understand somebody missing from property, and so she
Be
kind of
quiet.
give me that.
Mario Bros. I like this. Hey Yuki,
But
it's
she
too busy
seemed
playing dress up to be on
real
time for stream. How are you?
What does she think?
Well, are you enjoying yourself? That's the big question. I'm decent. I'm very sleepy,
I asked her a lot about it, but she hasn't.
but I'm also caffeineless.
She hasn't offered much information on that.
What do you believe our next step in this investigation is going to be?
Well, I would say go look in the pig pen and see if you find any more parts and especially clothing.
Where else?
What is that? Fits my friend. Kim, you're so cute. Oh hell yeah.
Do you think we would look other places too?
My neighbors are Karen and Lorna are over here. So when he went crazy, they heard him and they hear everything, and then complaining to you guys and to the county and everybody else. And that's why I lost my hair a couple of years ago.
Oh.
Susan has been deflecting with generic statements prior to this, but this comment is way off topic and may be meant to elicit sympathy from the detectives.
Because the county had come out and said I needed to clean up my place or I was going to get fined $600, and I had no idea where I was going to get $600. So for 2 nights I didn't sleep. And then immediately after that I started.
Susan pushes on her forehead with her hand, which is known as facial distortion. This behavior often happens when someone is feeling especially anxious or upset. Susan's land is very important to her, and the thought of losing it was likely very stressful for her.
I'm very self-conscious. I've always been somewhat of a loner, and now I'm very much more of a loner. I don't go anywhere. Since shortly after this happened, I have not been able to look in a mirror. For the last 2 years, I have not looked in a mirror. I take a cloth, I wipe my face. I've not been able to take a bath.
Ooh.
In 2 years.
Ooh.
We can't say for certain if this is true, but the information Susan is providing here could indicate that she might have begun to mentally and emotionally decompensate 2 years ago when she began losing her hair. Abandoning hygiene is an indication of severe mental and emotional problems.
And then today I go ahead and you people won't let me go down and relieve myself, so I'm walking around for an hour and a half in my pants.
Susan refers to the officers as you people, showing her disdain for
You
them,
people.
and it's a sign of disrespect. Notice that both officers are sitting leaning forward towards her with their elbows on their knees. They're trying to get Susan to mirror this position, which is often seen when someone breaks down and confesses. This position is a sign of resignation.
Susan, what do you think the chances are we're going to find the rest of Robert?
When Susan finishes her story about her hair, the officers have no response to her whatsoever and just dive right back into the facts of the case and questioning her. It's a little surprising that they offer no empathy towards her after her long-winded story about how badly she feels about herself. By not acknowledging her feelings, the detective may have damaged the rapport that he had built with Susan so far.
The only place that I would be able to say would be if it were in the gully between where
What's a
the
goalie?
stuff is and the trailer. He might have fallen down.
Hi girls and one guy.
I was down there. I never saw anything.
Susan,
Are there any other guys in chat?
Any other animals?
It's not all girls, right?
A couple of weeks ago, I went and made
Just me and the girls hanging out watching our spoopy shit.
bones in the
As usual.
liquid to add flavor to it before I made the meal.
What do the pigs do when they eat the bones like that? Do they crunch them all
Hey,
up?
I'm the guy. How's it going? I'm a guy. We got another one. We got another one.
Out in the back pen
Of what?
of one of the pigs.
Pig pig skull?
Yes.
So they didn't eat up the skull then?
No.
So
Well,
if a
The
human
brother who
ended
breaks
up
into the
in a-
sister's
probably
sleepover.
they
He's
didn't
just
have
one
a
of
human
us. It's
skull
fine.
either, would they?
Well, a pig skull is a lot bigger.
Back to
Like
the start
the-
here. Susan, our intention is to go find the rest of this person.
Yes.
Should we leave so your girls can be alone?
We're going to search
LaMail.
Yes.
until we do find
Nah.
this person, and then we're going to compare. You know,
Edwin. I think we got another guy.
belong to the same person, and then
I'm the gay friend that gets invited.
either it's Robert or it's somebody else.
See, we got a little mix. It's not just girls.
We need to know if you have any knowledge.
I will not be dressed up and no one touches my hair. Are you sure?
That
Please?
now would probably be the time to tell us.
3 guys watching on the living room TV.
When there's a delay in responding, this can sometimes indicate deception. A pause is appropriate when a question requires thought. However, other questions, like whether Susan knows what happened to Robert, should be easy to answer if she didn't have anything to do with it.
Sometimes Susan.
We tolerate males.
We have no control over. Or we didn't know. Was
And the
gonna
nice guy
happen
girls confide in but don't want.
for various reasons, and we hide things.
That may change in the future.
Fear or embarrassment.
So long as you're a good person and you
Detectives
take
start
care of
using the lead
yourself.
technique, offering alternate explanations for why she did what she did, and offering a less morally despicable explanation by saying things like, "Things just happen, and people make mistakes." This is to get her to latch onto one of these explanations and confess to some involvement. They're doing this now because they can see Susan is feeling defeated and has lost some resolve in sticking with her lies.
If my pigs did eat Robert, would you kill my pigs?
Well, I don't know. That's something we'd have to look at.
What the? She's more concerned about her
This is
pigs
an
than
odd
Robert.
question, and possibly Susan's way of deflecting the suspicion away from herself. However, it's possible that this is another example of Susan's black and white thinking. In her mind, killing the pigs would be wrong because it's not their fault that they ate something in their pen. The pigs don't have morals that would keep them from eating a person. So
Oh,
she
you're
doesn't
right.
think it would be
The
fair
pigs
for her
didn't do
pigs
nothing
to
wrong.
die for doing something that they can't control.
Now, you mentioned an incident to us where Susan held you into the pig area. Tell me about that.
I thought she was just joking, but she's a big woman. Don't get me wrong. She's bigger than you are. She just lifted me up and held me over the pig farm because I was looking at her pigs, and she knows I'm scared of them.
Why are you scared of the
I'm scared of
piggies?
them.
Right.
I would never get in there. But anyway, I was looking at her, and she held me over and laughed. And then she told me, "I would like to see how fast my pigs could get rid of a human body."
Bro, don't joke like that.
Those pigs friendly out there?
No.
No?
No?
Aggressive? Aggressive?
So was she mad at you at the time, or does that
No.
just seem like something just kind of out
I
of the
thought it
blue?
was funny.
Okay.
Risking it, and
I
for
thought she
what?
was kidding.
True.
You guys were involved in an argument with that.
No.
They ate Robert.
According to Michael, she laughed as she said these
I hear
words.
pigs eat
If
anything.
this is true,
Same.
this could be an indication that Susan may have some sadistic traits, as she might derive enjoyment from inflicting harm on others, or at the very least, from bullying or threatening others. Oftentimes, people with antisocial personality disorder have
It's weird
sadistic
seeing her with hair.
tendencies. We can't draw any conclusions about Susan's diagnosis, but with this information being revealed by Michael, there's a possibility that Susan may have derived pleasure from thinking about and acting on feeding a human being to her pigs.
Bro.
Pig there.
No, a Seth with a gray and a saturated red lips of color. Oh my god.
Note that Susan
You're
uses
gonna
her
look
drink to stall
beautiful.
as she speaks and then begins to sigh heavily. She first raises her hand to cover her eyes when she's asked to tell the detectives what happened and does it again now. When detectives see all of these things together, especially the eye blocking, it can be a sign of deception as the deceptive person doesn't want to face the reaction from the other person.
Everything that I told you was the truth. up
Uh-huh.
until about a week after Bobby had called me. I don't know when, but sometime about a week after Bobby had called, I went down. He was like half eaten. He was
By what?
by the pigs.
Okay.
Okay, so she knows he
Like
got
half
eaten.
by the pigs. It was early in the morning, and I saw what had happened. His guts were all over the place. He was still alive. I knew he wasn't going to be alive for more than
Still alive?
Here she is covering her mouth with her hand as she says this, which could be another clue of deception. People who are lying sometimes hide their mouth, attempting to cover the lie.
I went back up to my house and I got a gun and shot him in the head.
If it was true that Susan found her pigs eating Robert, most people would have immediately either gone to try to help him and or called 911. When Susan says this, her mouth is covered by her hand,
That's
almost
because
blocking
she's
the
not
words
telling the
coming out
whole
of her
truth.
mouth. It's possible that Susan's trying to hide her emotions by
She's
covering
telling
her
a
mouth,
version of the
because
story
maybe
that
the sadness
she'd
she's
like them
trying
to believe.
express is feigned.
I didn't want my pigs to be shot for not doing something that the natural causes. Well, pigs get hungry. You know, if he was out there, I don't know what happened to start with. If he went out and started doing something to them, I can't see that my pigs would go ahead and do something to somebody without cause.
There's a deviation in her behavior here because she's much louder, and there's more emotion in her voice compared to just moments ago when she was describing how she supposedly found Robert half-eaten and shot him. It's possible that this change in tone of voice is an indication of tension, as a change in pitch is often a sign of emotional stress. It's
What's
also safe to
definitely
say that
true is
Susan
she
simply
doesn't want
feels
her
more
pigs to
strongly about
be
her pig's well-being
taken
than
care
she
of,
does about
so to speak.
Robert's.
They've always been very friendly with me. They still are very friendly with me.
Those pigs are her only friends.
I didn't want to say anything, and because I was afraid you were going to go out and shoot my pigs.
That's not going to happen right now, okay? We're going to look into that, but tell me, back at the beginning, how did you know Robert was there? Did you hear noise? What happened?
I came down in the morning. I can say this was maybe, it was over a month since I have seen him last, because it was about that
Wildflowers.
time
I have
when
not.
Bobby had called me to ask me what was going on, and I told him I have no idea. And
so he had been gone.
He had been gone over a month.
Okay.
He had been gone over a month. I came down to feed my animals, and I heard this moaning and stuff.
Did you hear screaming?
No, not really a scream.
Just moaning.
Moaning more, yeah. And his guts were out, but he was still alive.
Again, she covers her mouth as she says he was still alive, possibly signifying that she's not telling the truth about this. Touching one's face is also a self-soothing technique.
And how did you know he was alive?
I could see his arm moving.
And was he still moaning?
Yeah, it was moaning a little bit.
So what'd you do then?
I yelled at the pigs, and they were doing their thing. They're just, having lunch or breakfast. They were having breakfast on him. And I could see that, there was no way he was going to get to the hospital and live. I didn't think he was gonna live more than a few more minutes.
Did he say
But,
anything to you?
No, he didn't say anything. He was just moaning.
So
But
you went back into your house.
I went up and got my rifle and I shot him in the head.
How many times?
I don't know.
More than once?
I don't know.
The not remembering is very unusual. When someone has a selective memory, this can sometimes be a deceptive indicator. However, it's
Selective
difficult to prove that someone
dementia.
is lying when they say they don't remember. It seems as though Susan doesn't want to admit
Yeah,
how
her
many
not
times she
bathing and
shot
only
Robert.
being
If
friends
she
with her
admits that she
pigs
shot him
is...
multiple times, she
It
may be
makes sense why
concerned
she
that will
gives
make her
people the
look more
heebie-jeebies.
guilty.
I have no idea.
So you're sure you did it once?
Yes.
But you're not sure if you did it more than once?
I don't know if I did it more times. I don't know.
So after you shot him, then what happened?
After I shot him.
Did he die immediately?
Yes.
And then what'd you do?
I went and fed my other animals, and I just left him there.
And so, as far as you know, he was never moved from that big place. What reason do you think that
I
he
have
would
no
be in the
I have
pig
no
pen?
idea why he would go in the pig pen. I have none at all.
Susan begins answering the detective's question before he even finishes asking it, which is something
She's
to
gonna
take
lie
note
to
of.
save her
When
life.
suspects take either too long to answer a simple question or interrupt to answer a question, it could be because they're not being honest. Answering too quickly shows an overeagerness to tell their side and defend themselves.
Yeah, hell no, I
while a
think she
long
killed him
pause
first and
shows the
then
person is
threw him
carefully
in the pen.
considering the answer they want to give or concocting a lie on the spot.
Were you angry at him when he came back?
I didn't see him come back. I was angry at him and angry at him and my pigs for what happened.
The pen area that you're talking about, is that going to be right by the...
South of the barn.
South of the barn.
South of the barn.
Pretty close to the barn? How close do you think it was to the barn?
Where his body was? 40 feet.
And so what happened, after you fed the rest of your animals and then checked to see, obviously the pigs are going to do...
The only reason she's crying because she knows she's going to jail. True.
Come back to them. If you
True.
originally maybe you were trying to shoo them off, but obviously leaving him there, they're going to eat him, right?
Yes.
Susan covers her face, displaying that she either is ashamed of what she did or feels overly stressed. Hiding her face psychologically removes her a little from the situation and the direct glare of the interrogator.
So,
True.
did you check
Justice
back
for
to
the piggies.
see-
They did nothing wrong.
Days later. Well, no, I mean every day. And
Did you ever move any part of him out of the pen? I mean, there's got to be some parts that aren't eaten, like you said, they don't eat clothes, right?
A few days later, when most of him was gone, I went in there and I picked up the clothes. I picked up the few parts that were left.
And what was left?
There was the skull and an arm, and I'm not sure. I know there was the skull. If you go back out to my barn, and when you go, let me draw you a little picture. What's left of him is in a couple of plastic bags right there.
Okay.
Susan appears to be at least somewhat bothered by picking up Robert's remains. The fact that she left his body there for 2 days could suggest that she wanted the pigs to destroy the evidence.
Where did you shoot him at?
I shot him in the head. I did not look to see where I was shooting him. I just took the rifle and shot.
Was he laying on his back, his side?
On his back.
So, most likely...
Frustrating part is she's making the pigs seem aggressive and dangerous to save her own ass. Like she says the pigs ate Robert alive for no reason. Yeah, like I don't think pigs just eat people. Like you'd have to be already gone.
I knew there was no way for him to be
It's another
alive
case near me
more
where
than a
pigs ate a
couple
bunch
more
of
minutes. I went up to the house, so
SWs
I
after they
got
were
my rifle. I
murdered.
just
Man.
went like this. I just turned my head and I shot.
Who found the body?
And
There's
then
no
I didn't
body,
see
just
any
the
more
leg, yeah.
didn't
I
see
forgot
his
who
arm
found the
move
leg.
or any more moaning and I left.
Did you ever think, did you ever think it was possible that maybe if you got an ambulance there, they might be able to do something for him?
No. I didn't think he was gonna. There was no way. I mean, an ambulance takes half an hour to get to him. There was no way he was gonna live more
If
than another
pigs
couple
taste
minutes.
blood, they will go into a blind rage and
I
just
did
eat.
pretty much the way I do everything else. I do not like to see an animal suffer. I did not like to see him suffering.
Comparing Robert to one of her pigs suggests that she has difficulty understanding social norms, as it's not socially appropriate to compare ending a human's life to ending a pig's life.
The bag that has the skull and the other few remaining parts in it, did you ever try to destroy those at all, or did you just put them in the bag?
I couldn't think about anything. The burn barrel's right there.
Okay. And the clothes are still in there?
They're burned up.
Right. Was there anything else that you might have put in there that burned up? Like maybe a wallet might have been in there? You don't know.
I don't know. I didn't go through his stuff.
Are the ashes still in there, or did you?
Yes. No. No. I haven't. I haven't emptied the burn barrel. It's half full of ashes.
Were you worried using his card though, after you knew that he was dead, that you would get caught?
No.
Dumbass.
I didn't really think about it.
What the hell? How do you go and use his card after he dies like that? She's full of it. She's full of it. They're omnivore. They eat pretty much everything as far as I know. I also go into blind rage and eat. But that's just a Tuesday.
I don't know.
And then he ends up in there mysteriously.
I don't know if he ever, like I say,
Did he come after you and threaten you? Something happened, Susan?
No. He never came after me or threatened me for any reason.
Did he do something to you or
No.
a place that caused you to do something to him?
No. He never did anything to me. The only thing he ever did to me was make a big mess.
Right.
And I'm not shooting somebody because I made a mess.
Because you got to see through my eyes that this story seems convenient.
I have
Convenient.
I have no idea. I have no idea how he got in there or why he would go in there. I don't know.
Did you ever hear her make threats toward Robert? Like, I'd like to kill that guy, or I'm going to do this with him, or that?
Yeah, I heard her say, I will shut him
Bro,
up.
pigs are pigs. They smell, they taste food, they eat food.
Shut him up, I guess.
So he never threatened you, never came up in a drunken rage, come back to your
They
house,
say,
mad
nom nom.
somebody stealing his stuff or doing anything of that nature.
The dude Def died before he was in. He had to have been.
Susan with possible justifications.
Who's Robert to Susan? He worked on her farm.
You have the right to defend yourself. You know that. If something happened to you,
Yeah.
No. If he had come up to my house and threatened me and I had shot him, I would have called
In
you
order to
immediately. I would have called you
to stay there, and I think he got paid. He had to work on our farm and stuff, but he wasn't doing anything that involved the pigs, as far as I'm concerned, or any of the animals. It's like chopping wood or something.
And he would kill me in a minute if he wanted to, but he was very gentle. When he was about 400 pounds or something, I walked by him, and I was scratching the back of his neck. And he hit me with his head and put a cut in my leg right here. That's the only time any of my animals have ever hurt me at all. And he was not being mean. He was not being mean at all to me. He just twitched his head and he weighed 3 times or twice what I did, and he just put a little cut in my leg and knocked me down. Our pigs are not mean.
Although covering one's mouth can
My
be an
boyfriend's
indicator of
teacher
protection,
worked on
it's
his murder
possible that
case.
this is not the
Wait,
case
this
for
same
Susan.
case that
This
we're
may
watching
be
right
typical
now.
behavior for her when she's feeling emotional. It's possible that she wants to appear strong, and she may feel that showing emotion is weak. By covering her mouth when she's upset, she may be trying to create a barrier between her and the detectives as a way to hide her feelings from
Those
them.
pigs are
The
her
fact
only
that she's
friend,
covering her
dude.
mouth while she tells the story about her pig hurting her lends support to the theory
Robert
that this is
Picton,
her attempt
different
to
guy.
hide her
That sounds
emotions
familiar
rather
though.
than to cover a lie,
Picton.
as it wouldn't make sense for her to be dishonest
Does
about
that
getting
also
cut by her
involve
pig.
pigs?
This is why it's important to not make any judgments about whether someone is being dishonest simply based off of one
It's so
deceptive indicator.
familiar.
You need to look at the whole picture, not just one small piece of the puzzle.
And I do not know why. I do not know why he was out there. I do not know if he had been out there previous to that time.
Oh shit.
And I have no idea what happened to make
Yeah.
them do that to him.
Susan, would you be willing to take a lie detector test?
That guy's a
Susan
mess.
immediately agrees to take a polygraph exam. She may believe she can pass it, as she clearly believes she's smarter than the officers.
No problems at all?
No problem.
And obviously the issue would be, did you shoot him after the pigs attacked him, or did you shoot him first and then take
I
him?
shot him after the pigs. He was laying on the ground with his guts out.
Okay, I'm just asking if you'd be willing to take the test.
He was laying, yes.
Let's see her take the test.
Brady reports that Susan has a hard time killing the pigs, contrary to her statement earlier when she made jokes about butchering them.
But she loves pigs. She loves them. She has a hard time butchering them, actually.
She what?
She actually has a hard time butchering them.
Butchering them, okay.
She does.
So you mentioned that you heard her say kidding around and feed people to the pigs and all that stuff. Has she ever talked about doing that?
No.
It's possible that Susan uses humor as a
Last
coping
name was my best friend.
mechanism when she's
Ooh,
feeling
that's
uncomfortable or stressed. Making light about something she actually finds emotionally difficult may be her way of proving to other people that she isn't weak.
And like Detective Fox was talking about, it does really sound like it's more of a story of convenience, of something that, you know, it's explainable, but it doesn't really make that much sense. We understand that you are saying that you shot him, okay?
I still don't know if you actually found a leg or anything, but if you did find
we did.
If you found a leg,
Shall I go get a photo of it?
yeah.
As far as like the skeletal structure of a person,
When that looks like a leg.
it is.
Okay. If it's in the grass, then it had I don't know. In the
Susan appears distressed about seeing the photo of the leg. Flipping it over was her way of reducing her stress. Out of sight, out of mind. This avoidance behavior is similar to her story about how she didn't go check the pig pen for a couple days after Robert was killed. Instead of coping with something difficult, someone with anxiety may choose to avoid certain things or situations.
I could not look at him.
So
all I heard
also said
was a little bit of moaning, and one arm was moving a little bit.
And you also just mentioned that you don't like it when if you had a pig out here in the barn, you wouldn't be able to shoot them humanely.
Yes.
Right. So it was important to have a good shot on a pig so that it doesn't suffer.
Yes, but Robert, I mean, there's a human being laying there.
I understand that you didn't look from what you're saying, but did you at least place the end of the muzzle close to somewhere where you thought that would be a humane shot?
I was probably maybe a foot and a half from his head.
The end of the barrel?
Yes.
Okay. And was there a reason for that?
Well, I couldn't look at him and take aim or anything. He was laying there. I was standing here, and I went like that, and I pulled the trigger.
But you made sure that the barrel was pointed at his head.
Yes.
Is it possible that we might find someone else out there or remains from another person on your property somewhere? Is that possible?
Anything is possible.
Bruh, answer the questions, yes or no?
Where it was.
Okay.
What if that leg's not Robert's?
If it's not, I don't know who it would be.
Yawn.
You're not very, and I don't know if Detective Fox is getting the same thing from you, but you're not when you. It seems like before where you kind of wanted to say something, but you didn't. You held it out, and then and it's like you want to say it, and this is like Detective Fox said. This is your opportunity to do that.
Susan, who else is out there?
Instead of asking again if anyone else is out there, which is a close-ended question that could be answered with a simple yes or no, the detective switches tactics and asks directly, who else is out there? This is known as a presumptive question because the asker is assuming that something is true, in this case, that there's another body. This question may catch Susan off guard. If she was being honest when she initially denied that any other bodies are there, she likely wouldn't have to think about her response. It would be something easy, like no one else is out there. However, if she knows that there is another body, she may pause to think about her response.
To my knowledge, no one. And if that leg is not Robert's, I would very much like to know it myself.
Her reply is especially suspicious, as most people would be able to definitely answer whether or not a dead body was on their property, even if it is a large area. Using this qualifying statement such as, to my knowledge, is a major red flag.
Of course.
You know, I'd very much like to know it myself if it's not his. And how it got from the pig pen to wherever over there in the grass you found it, I have no idea.
Right. And sometimes bad things happen to good people, you know, misfortune. I mean, who would have thought that Robert would have ended up in the pigs, right?
Yes.
So did something else bad happen to you?
I probably would have answered the same way too.
The only thing, and I will admit, I have thought about it quite a bit, maybe too much, is that Karen. I mean, I have thought about killing her 100 times.
Okay, well, we're not talking
That's
about
the neighbor,
Karen.
right?
Why would you say that?
I understand that. We're not talking about Karen.
Okay, well,
Right.
that's
Right.
the only.
And you're pretty sensitive about your hair falling out over
Yes.
that incident, aren't you?
Yes, I lost my hair within 2 months.
I mean, that's devastating,
Yes.
especially
Heck? What the heck?
for you, isn't it?
Yes. It's very hard for me to sit here right now.
Yes, and even
You know,
talk about it, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, just wearing this, like I say, I never leave my property, and I would not have today without putting my wig on.
And your story about
Oh,
shooting
she has a
Robert, I know
wig.
that's true, that you shot him when he was in the...
Look at those remotes. Why are they so freaking
I know
dusty?
that's true. But where
Her
else
place
did you
looks
shoot
so
him?
creepy, and
When he
for
died
why?
in the first shot?
Why?
Where else was
For
he shot
what?
at?
I have no idea.
Was he standing up on the first shot?
No. No, he was laying down on the ground.
Well, you know, we have the skull, right?
Yes.
We're going to take a look at that skull.
Yes.
And you know how forensics are. I'm
Yes.
sure you watch that kind of stuff and you understand.
One of the things I got on the...
And we can take a look at that.
What do you call it?
Right. And we can take a look at those angles. You know how you put the rods and the lasers,
Yes.
and you can figure
Yes.
that all out. And we can tell if they all those shots came from the same area.
Yes.
And we can also tell if it happened somewhere else.
Yes.
You were shooting at the head.
Yes.
Is there some other way that something we're going to see that doesn't make sense to your story?
Like I said, I might have shot him 6 times. I really don't
Like
know.
I said, I might have shot him 6 times. Did I miss that or something? Because I swear she said she had no idea.
I have no idea. He was on the ground.
Right, I know that
like
part's
that,
true.
and
I know that's true. I can sense that. I can
Okay.
tell that. But I can also sense that there's something missing. There's some part that something happened between you two before that happened.
No.
Something happened.
No.
Do you feel responsible? Did you ask him to go out and feed the pigs?
No.
And so now you're feeling guilty
No.
about that?
No. I do not.
Did you request him to clean up something in the
No.
pig stand?
No.
And now you feel guilty?
No, I feel guilty in the fact that he was lying there and I shot him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel guilty for, you know, the fact that my pigs ended up eating most of him. I do not feel guilty for I do not feel guilty for causing his death.
Right.
Okay,
Although your gunshots are what ended it completely.
yes, I mean, he was. We were not standing here together,
Right.
and I did not shoot him in the head.
Did you ever point your rifle at anybody
No,
before? A person?
no. While I was in the Navy, if I saw something suspicious, I would throw a hand grenade at it, or sense and even thought about shooting anyone.
So you value human life.
I just got here. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like
you do. It sounds like you
he's mad incriminating himself. That's a lady.
No,
Well,
I should
And
not be
yes,
saying
she
it
kind
up
of
right
do
now.
be incriminating herself.
I do not value human life very much.
Oh, she went out and
The
said
only
it.
problem with this planet is there's people on it. If it weren't for us, all the other animals, you know, dodo birds and whatever else would still be here.
Okay. Well, how did you feel about Robert?
What
kind of person was he?
Well, I try to repeat here. I don't know him.
What about, what did you see with Robert and his deal?
Good things to say to the police officer, right?
Okay, you saw them having words?
Yes.
And what was that about? What?
No, she wanted all her work done for free. And he wasn't agreeing to that.
Okay.
I used to go talk to him every day. He was my buddy.
Just like Brady appears to feel loyal toward Susan, Michael appears to feel loyal toward Robert. This could explain why Brady and Michael give such different accounts, not only about Susan, but about how Susan felt about Robert. This doesn't necessarily mean that they're lying to detectives. However, it may be easier for them to remember things that fit with what they believe is true. This is known in psychology as confirmation bias. When something happens that fits with what we already believe, we're more likely to see it as important and therefore remember it. If something happens that doesn't align with our beliefs, we may discount it.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. You know what I mean? Of because if I went into a pen and a pig started attacking me, I guarantee you, get out.
Like I say, my pigs are not mean.
Right.
I have no idea.
They're not mean, but then why would they eat him?
And furthermore, I have no idea why they would go after him or anybody. You know.
You mind if I just grab you some more water? You want some water?
I'm not
Or a
without
soda?
water.
You want a soda? I'll get you a soda.
Yeah, we need a table.
Can you do it in here or somewhere?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's in there right here.
I'm Chris.
Hello, Chris. Can all three of you go outside for just 5 seconds?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Let's. There's a plug right
Okay.
behind here.
Just 5 seconds.
Sure.
Can I have this chair, please?
Yeah, I'll take the drawer.
I'm gonna kill myself with it.
No.
Okay. Just 5 seconds, please.
Okay.
Susan is extremely self-conscious about her bald head, which is why she asked for everyone to leave the room while she took off her sweatshirt and adjusted her hat.
I'll talk to you about the polygraph stuff.
I see.
I'm just very subconscious about my hair. So I didn't want to take this off while you were looking.
The polygraph examiner begins setting up. Though Susan willingly agreed to take the polygraph, as you'll soon see, it did not go as planned.
Ooh.
So how you doing?
Bald!
Right away, the polygraph
Bald!
examiner starts building rapport with Susan. He asks her about her experience with polygraphs.
Have you ever had a polygraph before?
I did one time.
What was that about?
I can't remember. But I think I did have one.
Really?
How do you have a polygraph and like don't remember
I
having
think
it?
you'd remember unless it was maybe a long time ago.
It was 30 or 40 years ago. I don't
Yeah. Oh, she's way older than I thought she
It's
was.
extremely hard to believe that Susan doesn't recall the circumstances when she had previously been polygraphed. The experience is extremely stressful and would certainly be memorable even if it was years ago.
I do not remember a lot of stuff.
Reminder
I'm
that she
very
pooped
good
her
at
pants and
spatial
is just
geometry
sitting in
and
it.
remembering
No
numbers.
way.
Okay. I have a friend like that.
I do not remember people at all, or I have a bad concept of time.
Okay.
Susan mentions her memory problems almost immediately. This is rather convenient as remembering timelines is critical in an investigation. This is likely a tactic so she can claim to not recall incriminating information during the polygraph or interrogation.
Imagine the smell. No!
The investigator will likely ask her to recall
Formulate the
non-incriminating
aroma.
information from her past to disprove her claim of having a bad memory.
So when they're asking
She
me
forgot she
questions
pooped
about
herself.
what happened 3 weeks ago, I'm trying to, figuring a month on either direction.
Susan tells him that she has worked on her property for 22 years. Before the polygraph examiner explains the process of the polygraph test and tells her he has to set up his
Which is quite a while ago, so I'm not sure if she did it mid-interview or not.
Pulse, blood pressure, and skin electroconductivity.
Good job. How do you remember all that stuff?
Like I say, I remember all kinds of things. I do not remember a lot of stuff.
Do you watch it on TV or things like that?
Did she just say she remembers all kinds of things? Bro, what is the problem?
I like the
Bro.
British things more than anything else.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's one called Rosemary and Thyme. They go out and solve crimes where, it's one of those, stupid things. You go out to trim a tree and find a body.
Okay.
For the most part, it's things that are not plausible. I can move a little bit.
Just move over just a little bit, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm almost.
Imagine if she did poop herself at this point and it's just like smushing her.
Yeah, me too. I'm most comfortable at home.
Susan brushes her hand across her forehead, possibly wiping sweat from her brow. Increased sweating can be indicative of someone being in fight or flight mode due to a perceived threat.
Well, how about me? Are you comfortable with me?
No, I'm not.
You're not comfortable with me?
No, I am comfortable.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine with one or two people.
Okay.
But when a large group of people, I start.
So it doesn't fade for the smell.
The way she describes her anxiety attacks sounds like Susan suffers from panic disorder, possibly panic disorder with agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is an anxiety disorder associated with a fear of places or situations that could make someone panic, feel trapped, or embarrassed.
Oh, maybe I have that too. Shit.
Jackson County Mental Health.
Good.
And psychiatrists and psychologists down there, they were taking all kinds of pills and trying to give them to me.
You had mentioned her temper, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but just tell me about that. What was she talking about her temper?
I think she gets up at some point and is pointed out that it's on the chair. No.
She screams. It's just
No.
outburst, but, she was screaming real loud and really bipolar,
Is bipolar something that you came up with, or she told you?
No, she has.
Okay. She take medication for it, or?
I think so. I haven't even asked her. She forget what.
So she screams at people.
Oh yeah.
Hooting and hollering.
Self-diagnosis, Susan?
I have, problems with people.
Okay.
That's basically the whole thing.
They didn't put a name on it. They call it some.
If they did, I can't remember what it was.
Susan states that she has what she calls problems with people. This could be a number of personality disorders, and it seems hard to believe she
20
doesn't
acre
recall what she
is a
was diagnosed
lot.
with. Most people know what kind
I
of
grew
mental
up
illness
to
they
live in a
have.
50-acre property, and
So
my friends in
about
school
me,
had at least
I used to be a
50 to 100
detective.
acres growing up. Dang, y'all are
I'll
spaced
read
out.
it to you. Would you be able to sign it if I read it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
The interrogator reads Susan her rights and has her verbally agree to take the polygraph. He cannot force her to take a polygraph, But whether or not someone willingly agrees to take a polygraph is
I think I'd
important
rather
to an
the crime scene
investigation.
pants than the
It's
smelly poo
actually
poo ones. Oh my
surprising
god,
Susan
dude.
is willing.
Why don't they let her change from her poo poo pants? That's a question.
Uh,
Maybe they didn't know.
about it, but
Maybe they can't make an assumption. Like, maybe because of like her house, maybe it's stinky and
Susan also claimed
she's also
earlier she's
stinky,
been
and
to
they're like,
crime
that's just
shows,
how she
and
is.
may
Maybe.
think she knows ways to beat the test.
All I need you to do then, since just acknowledge that I read those to you, was sign your name right in there somewhere.
It's called Canada.
You don't have to. It's just I just want to make sure that.
For America, it depends on where you are.
Okay.
You could be somewhere that's super crowded. You could be
Susan states
somewhere
she's
super
shaking.
spaced out. It
You
just
can hear her
depends on where,
verbally
you know?
sigh a few times to release tension. These behaviors
Your job is
suggest that
not
she's
to assume, I
feeling
guess, yeah.
uncomfortable, possibly as a result of her
They could have
self-reported
thought if they
history of
like
anxiety.
confronted her
Most
about it, it
people
might
are
make her
nervous
shut
taking a
down. So they
polygraph
might have
exam,
avoided
so
it for that
this is
reason.
expected.
Am I making you nervous?
Duh.
I think of everything very logically. I was telling the one officer just
I'll think
a couple
of
minutes
everything
ago
very logically.
that there are diseases like sickle cell anemia that could be dealt with very simply by having people that have that gene to not have kids. And in one generation, we would not have that disease anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, except you can't just stop people from having kids.
Have one child,
Yeah.
which is very good. In India, you got 1 billion people in this little spot. It's stupid.
When Susan describes how she thinks of everything very logically, she's very unemotional and comes across as somewhat egocentric. She appears to believe that she's smarter than everyone else, as she has logical answers about how to solve
Or from
world
gaslighting.
problems.
We're gonna
This
find
also
out. We're
shows
gonna
that
watch
Susan
until
has
we
some
find
very
out.
rigid beliefs.
I do not condone the going out and killing of people just for no reason. But if somebody does get killed, I'm not very concerned about it because there's 7 billion people on this planet.
So you're pragmatic about life in general.
Yes.
Comes and goes.
Yes.
Her comments about not being concerned when someone dies reveals that she may have difficulty forming emotional attachments to other people. It also suggests that she may lack empathy, as she's unable to see that although one person's death may not affect her personally, there are likely other people who are impacted and hurt by the loss of that person. It could also be an indication that she's willing to solve an issue by using methods that make sense to her and are convenient to her, regardless of what those methods are.
That's pretty.
No, she did. I saw it as well a while ago. Oh no. She 100% pooped her pants at one point.
Susan then changes topics abruptly.
100%. She pooped and then touches it with her hand. No. No.
The reason this happened was I do not feel.
Why wouldn't she tell him though? Like, she knows she's sitting in it marinating as it wafts her in the room. I understand being embarrassed about it, but it's more embarrassing waiting for others to notice. Maybe she didn't know, or like maybe she just goes in her pants all the time and that's just normal for her.
When illustrators are out of sync or misplaced,
You don't know
this
those
can
kind of
signal that
people, I'm
someone
just
may be
saying.
lying. However, Susan's movements appear to match up with her words.
I didn't think that he was going to live more than another couple of minutes, but he was definitely suffering.
Okay.
And I ended the suffering.
Okay.
Susan is using moral justification for killing Robert and is beginning to build a narrative as to why she did what she did. She alleges she was simply ending his suffering and was acting humanely. Her explanation of what she did to Robert also shows her rigidity of thinking. She thought it was okay to end his suffering, and so she went ahead and shot him. A jury might be less likely to convict someone of murder if this were truly a mercy killing, but she could still be charged with murder.
Do you have any concerns about taking any polygraph examination today?
No.
Okay. Have you had any injury or major surgery in the last 6 months?
I think it was a fart that turned out a little
Interrogator goes back to
saucy.
reading the usual
Stop!
preliminary questions to make sure she's coherent and can take the
Stop right
polygraph
now,
without being
stop
under the
it.
influence or have any conditions that would interfere with the accuracy of the test. This is always done as the machine picks up physical and biological responses that can easily be affected by drugs, alcohol, or certain medical conditions. However, it's important to note that polygraph exams are notoriously unreliable.
So you know alcohol in the past 24 hours or so? Okay.
I had a margarita that was very weak on the third Thursday of last month.
Okay, wow.
She can remember
Susan is able to recall
that
certain
perfectly
information
fine.
in a lot of detail, despite previously stating that her
Hmm.
memory isn't good.
Have you ever been diagnosed by a doctor or professional medical person with depression or anxiety?
Yes.
Okay. Which one? Both of them, or just anxiety you mentioned?
And anxiety. I don't think anybody ever said I was depressed. I get
What was that? A
depressed
solid fart or liquid fart?
occasionally, and
Stop!
most of the time, if I just go out and
Jesus,
next to a
I'm
tree and
asking
look
for
at
you
my
now. I need you now.
acres, I'm
Okay.
happy and just
I'm converting.
Okay. And you
I
don't
see the
remember what
light.
your mental health diagnosis was, if they had a name for it or anything like that? But
No.
you just do better when you're alone. Right?
I do better when I'm alone.
Sue's bipolar really bad, and she starts stuff and doesn't finish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like when she starts something, she don't have no plans on finishing it.
I get these anxiety things like when I go to
Liquid.
shop, I mentally put blinders on myself. I try not to look at people. I manage quite well.
Here she is describing the feelings and behaviors of people that
Grab
struggle
it.
with agoraphobia,
What?
or
Like
a
a.
rather serious social anxiety
Are we
disorder.
talking about a turd?
Sometimes people with social anxiety disorder will
Did she
describe
grab the
these
turd?
sort of
Like a whole
feelings or
turd?
behaviors when in public settings. Given her choice
Oh,
to live in a
hell
very
no.
isolated rural environment with animals,
Where would
that
you
she's
hide
probably
it?
true. She then describes an incident
Throw it
that
under
occurred
the
many years
desk.
ago where she was in a grocery store and began to have an anxiety attack. She left her cart in the store and went out to her car to wait until the anxiety went away. But while there, she was approached by two paramedics.
And said, "You all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Go away." And I tried to explain to him that I was okay, just having an
Try to wipe it away.
attack.
Do you know when in the video it
Be
happens?
all right in a couple of minutes. I managed to get one of them to go away, and the second one took my blood pressure, and I managed to convince them to go away and leave me alone.
Just doing their job, huh?
Yeah, well, like I say, it made it worse. If they had just, if they had left me alone for a few more minutes, I would have been just fine.
Although earlier she reported that she had difficulty remembering things and had a bad concept of time. She recalled in detail an anxiety attack she had 10 years ago. She may have felt like she was being scrutinized or negatively judged by the paramedic, which is common in individuals with social phobia. With social phobias, some people suffering from anxiety have a specific fear of social or performance situations.
I have a TikTok
As
from
they're
this
afraid,
video.
they may
Oh
act in a way
no.
that causes them to feel embarrassed or humiliated.
Susan, do you know what you're suspected of, or why you're down here, or why they're talking to you? Can you tell me in your own words what
Is she
that
hooked
is?
up yet? No, right?
They think that I
Hook her up.
Robert for absolutely no reason or whatever.
Susan repeats the same story and confirms there was never a physical altercation between her and
When I
Robert.
think about the poo-poo, the more my little bootleg Nezuko brain hurts. Oh my god.
Several months that he had been there, that we ever had any kind of
I'm not gonna lie, but a part of me is morbidly curious about the poop.
confrontation, trying to pick words.
Now same.
That would have resulted in my deliberately killing.
To the best of your knowledge, Susan, has anybody else ever died on your property? Human, I mean?
No.
Okay.
There are more changes in her manner of speaking here. She not only slowed down and became more deliberate in her words, but she also shifted to more limited answers, where previously she's been quite talkative to the point of adding in
Straight to
unnecessary
jail,
and unrelated
same
information
cell
at
as
times.
her. What?
In fact, she often overshares, such as offering up information about her mental health before the detective even asked her about it.
Would you tell me if there had been?
I guess no.
Susan may have schizotypal personality disorder, which is characterized by consistent, intense discomfort with relationships and social interactions, usually accompanied by unusual thoughts, speech, and behaviors. It typically leads to severe and persistent anxiety and a tendency to avoid social situations. People with schizotypal personality disorder tend to hold peculiar beliefs and don't respond appropriately to social norms and cues. This would also explain Susan's flat emotions or limited or inappropriate emotional responses, incorrect interpretation of events, and her dressing in peculiar ways or being unkempt. However, Susan doesn't appear to have any ideas of reference, which is when someone interprets random events as having a special meaning for them, or magical thinking, like believing she has special powers, which are some common symptoms of schizotypal personality disorder. Although she technically only needs to meet 5 criteria
Stop!
for
Don't
this
say that.
diagnosis, the ideas of reference and
You're
magical
lying to
thinking
me
are
right
pretty
now.
distinguishing symptoms
You are
for this
lying to me.
diagnosis. To our knowledge, Susan has never been diagnosed with this disorder.
Appreciate your honesty.
I must leave. Husband wants to go for lunch. Great timing, bro. Great timing.
Yeah.
Nothing quite gets you hungry like someone doing themselves in an interrogation. Have a good lunch.
About him.
Thank you for stopping by.
I put him out of his misery.
Honey.
I do that. I do that for my animals, and this was the first time I did it for a human being. Then I went ahead and was
Old lady doo-doo, stop. Saw in the comments, so I don't know if it's true or not. Oh, I see.
Come out and shoot all my pigs for doing what pigs do.
Susan's utter lack of concern for Robert and the fact that she only cared about her pigs being taken away cuts against her story that she didn't kill him by her own desires. An innocent person would have been traumatized shooting someone they've known, even if they didn't have an extremely close relationship. Susan expresses no signs of remorse or guilt. She appears to
There
have very
totally
rigid
be doo-doo
beliefs about her
residue.
animals being more important than any human's life.
This is the biggest thing that makes no sense to me, is why he would be in their pig pen. And you can ask me 4 times tomorrow and 3 times the day after. It doesn't make any sense why he was out there.
Repeating "it doesn't make any sense" makes her sound honest, but Susan is smart. She may be trying to make herself sound believable.
If he had attacked me for some reason, and I had killed him, I would have called you immediately.
Just stop blinking out, and I hear doo-doo residue. Oh, God.
Pulled a knife on me or whatever, and busted in my room.
Okay, how do we even get on this topic? Somebody else said that they saw this video before and she doo-doos.
At no time, during the time that I knew him, did we get into any kind of a fight.
Saying they never had any altercations removes any possible self-defense claim she may have wanted to allege.
It sounds like tensions are pretty high just when you leave, right? You've had it whether you leave. So when you leave, it's Susan and Robert are the only ones left on the property?
Yeah, and she killed him.
Okay.
I'm not a cop, I'm not a detective, but it doesn't take a
we're just
moron can figure this out.
Okay, we're just trying to put pieces together, and
She killed his ass.
So why do you think the detectives think that you might have killed him before the pigs ate him?
I have no idea.
Does that make sense to you that they might think that happened?
Well, it makes sense that they think it might have happened.
Okay.
But to kill somebody for making a mess,
Well, it's happened before. I mean, I've known of other cases where things happen, and accidents happen too.
The interrogator is offering an alternative theory, which is a Reed technique where he will present a less morally despicable justification for her actions. He suggests that perhaps she killed him by accident, as she made it clear that she didn't do it in self-defense. He's hoping she'll latch onto the idea of an accident, as it's a less morally objectionable explanation than intentional murder.
Yeah,
I mean,
this was not an accident. Before all this had happened, he was more logical. Like I am, which to my knowledge, not knowledge, to my, whatever, anyway, to my feeling, would not cause him to be suicidal or anything like that. I did not feel that he was depressed as other people have said. My one neighbor said that she had talked to him and that he was very depressed, and I did not get that feeling from him.
If this was her way of trying to shed doubt on Robert's
Hear
mental
me
state,
out. The
it was a
officer is
very
kind of,
discreet way
bro?
to do so. By sharing
Bro?
that other people claimed Robert was depressed, Susan implies the possibility of him taking his own life. However, no one would take their own life in this way.
So, Susan, if someone actually
Right,
caused
right.
his death before he was in distress, like for whatever reason, and then call the police about it, what do you think should happen to someone like that?
This is a common question police ask suspects, as their answer can be very informative to their state of mind and consciousness of guilt. A guilty person will usually give an answer that includes a less harsh punishment,
Poo Poo
or
always
doesn't
comes
give a
back.
straightforward answer. An innocent person will generally want the most severe punishment for the killing of someone they cared about or knew, with little hesitation.
Say that again.
Well, I mean, you say that you shot him because
Not Poo
you
Poo
thought he was
forever
a goner
in my
Yes.
chat.
if he was even still alive.
Yes.
So let's
Oh,
say
hail
that's
Poo
not
Poo.
the case.
Okay,
Let's say
slow
it was
down.
something else.
Slow
Let's say
down.
someone killed Robert
Oh, no.
for any other reason and
Oh,
threw him
okay.
in the pen. What do you think should happen to that person?
Go to jail.
A
Go to
non-guilty
jail.
party would suggest a much harsher sentence for such a disturbing and heinous crime. She then displays traits of antisocial personality disorder and callousness
You're
towards
welcome.
Robert's death.
Don't like people. I think, if we got rid of a billion or two,
Hi, pajamas.
the world would be a lot better for a short time until we repopulate it again and make, I think that the human race is making a big mess of this planet. But no, if you simply kill people for no reason, you should go to jail.
Her statement of killing people for no reason shows that she likely believes there are valid reasons to kill people, and perhaps she thinks her reason for killing Robert was valid. She then gave another little hint into her psyche by revealing her rather negative worldview of humanity and her indifference about human life.
For how long do you think they should go to jail?
2 weeks.
Are you just kidding?
Yeah.
Her joke is very telling of her disregard for both human
I think
life
she's
as
making
well
a
as
big
the
mess of the
seriousness
chair.
this situation.
Stop.
She avoids giving an actual answer.
That's not up to me.
Well, I'm asking you because I'm curious as to how you feel about that. Does it matter to you whether it was an accidental killing or an on-purpose killing? Would that make a difference to you?
She looks like she's about to burst that Taco Bell out. Stop. Stop, 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 stop. Always comes back to poop, doesn't it? Yep. She even murdered the chair, sweating it. What?
People to my pigs.
Admitting that she joked about feeding people to her pigs will be key evidence to show both planning, premeditation, and that she was involved in Robert being put in the pig's feeding pen.
Just off to the right side of the barn and facing it is a large pig pen.
Send the chair, stop. Poop is just bruh. What the hell's going on? Nothing. 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 Totally nothing.
Susan,
Nothing
have
poop
you
related.
fed your pigs any other animals before?
No. If it's an accident, which to the best of my knowledge, this was not an accident by me.
It's a bit strange to
Huh?
say, to the best of my knowledge.
What does she
here.
mean?
It's almost
Poop
like
and
she's
true
leaving
crime,
room for the possibility
stop.
that she may have been in a dissociative state or not
Yo,
recall that she killed
Mero.
Robert.
To the best of your knowledge, you said. Is it possible that something else happened?
No, I guess I phrased that wrong.
Okay, well, I do listen to words.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well,
and I think you do too.
Yes, I try to. I'm bad with words, and I get. It takes me a long time for words to get from the back to the front. Had it been an accident, I'd be home right now.
What?
Yeah, I want you to play the role of a dishonest person for a second. If you had actually
It's a good thing I'm not so easily grossed out. I just came back with food.
keep you from telling me.
Go in there.
Don't want to go to jail.
Okay. Fair enough.
I have Robert staying in this room and then 10 feet away from him. I've got body parts. Why did I not get rid of it a long time ago?
I don't know.
I'm not in the psychological.
I want them to hook her up and do the test. Hook her up. Hook her up.
A mass murderer and just go into a school and start killing people.
That's when shit hits the fan. Custom shade of brown.
A crowd and blow myself up or something like that.
やめてください.
My general feelings when I get
Y'all are
these
stinky.
attacks is more homicidal than suicidal.
This will be a useful statement to show that she has the ability to do what she did. It almost appears that the time she spent in this interview is wearing her down to the point that she's becoming a bit sloppy and not watching what she says. It's possible that Susan is referring to having intrusive thoughts about harming others. Intrusive thoughts, which are unwanted thoughts or urges that pop into one's head and often cause great distress, can be common with anxiety disorders. Intrusive thoughts are often about some loss of self-control.
Where spooky ass said stinky. Stinky.
I've never acted on anything like that.
Has she ever got physical with you at all?
No.
She was sloppy, alright. Stop. Stop it. Stop it right now.
What does she do when she gets upset and mad? I mean, you have to have seen her mad. I mean,
She just screams.
She just screams.
Well, I've seen a lot of yelling and no action like that. No, not really. She's not
I heard spooky, my bad.
She's not a fighter. Period. She said she's never been a fighter. She could.
Okay, I'm stopping. Are you sure?
Come on in.
Come on in. You got my soda? See, they are listening. Thank you.
Someone's listening.
Thank you.
How I've missed you, live. Why is he so manly? Bro, are you good?
Get away from me before I start shooting.
Get the hornkney mallet. We gotta bonk the hornkney out of him.
That's the way I feel when I have these anxiety attacks.
You need to be left alone.
I need to be left alone. Yes, I need to just be left alone. If I'm left alone, I'm perfectly fine.
This suggests that the homicidal thoughts she has during anxiety attacks may not be intrusive thoughts, but something else entirely. People with intrusive thoughts do not want to act on these urges. That is what is so distressing about having unwanted thoughts pop into one's head. Susan, on the other hand, has said several times that when she's having an anxiety attack, she needs to be left alone. This appears to be a strongly held belief, and she was irritated when she mentioned a paramedic trying to help.
She probably had an accidental anxiety poop.
This is purely
How do you have an accidental anxiety poop?
Thoughts are occurring because Susan cannot
I guess I say this, but I've never been in a position, I guess, where that's been put to the test.
The store, this would prevent her from being alone, which may cause her to feel very angry. By admitting that she's capable of killing if she isn't left alone when she feels anxiety, Susan may be revealing her motive for killing Robert. It's possible that Robert may not have left her alone during an anxiety attack, which then triggered her.
I had one just now. I'm so glad. I'm so thankful that you've shared this information with me. Now I know that we are close buddies and that you trust me with your most valuable private information. Thank you so much. Too much tension can cause you to poop. Like, I've had anxiety poops, but it's like after the fact. We're still talking about poop, dear God. It's gonna happen until we find out that she's doo-dooed her chair. I know it. It's gonna keep coming back up.
Your body is going to react accordingly because we have hardwired into us this fight or flight, this animal instinct to protect ourselves, okay? So I have a little bit of work to do to get some questions ready, okay? We're almost
Oh, so he
ready
has
do
to
the
kind of
test,
like give her a
actually.
mini interrogation to
As soon as I
like
get
build
my
the
questions
questions.
ready, we
Oh,
can go over
okay.
them.
I thought like
Do you need a break or
the
anything
police
like
would just
this?
be
You
like,
need
all
to
right,
use the
here's the
restroom or
scoop, here's your
anything?
questions, do it, you know?
So if you'll just, I don't mean to be rude, but I
Chair
need to kind
reveal?
of slow
After
your
that chair
concentrate
reveal.
for a little bit.
The chair is suddenly
Instead of
turning brown.
remaining
Is its
silent as the
character arc?
polygraph
Bruh.
examiner requested, Susan once again discusses her disapproving views of the human race, this time saying that the reason there are so few bald eagles is because of pesticides killing them.
So that's another reason why I'm not in favor of the human race.
Who asked you,
Even
ma'am?
though I am among the human race.
Susan again indicates her preference for
Why did
animals
she
over
poop?
people,
What?
which she
I
seems
wasn't
to
here for
happily
this.
admit without it even being asked. She fails to
Someone said that
realize
they've
these
seen this video
comments are
before and
making her
said that
look
she
like the
pooped.
kind of person who would kill someone and then allow her pigs to benefit by eating them.
Snack break, so goofy.
I can type, but I can't. I can type, but you can't read what I've typed.
Why is that?
Because my spelling is atrocious.
Oh, just spell it, okay.
Everybody says the English language is hard to learn, and I agree with them. City should start with a C, or possibly an S, but it should not start.
Oh,
Cat
shoot.
should definitely start with a K.
She definitely doesn't know how to spell. Oh my goodness.
To the best of my knowledge, he was Benjamin Franklin. That said we should only have 23 letters instead of 26.
I heard that before too.
It's Jover for the chair.
Turkey could be the national bird.
I can see the future. I mean, it shouldn't have been Taco Bell, dude.
But thank you for the sandwich.
But is there anything else?
But no,
you think
usually
I should know
interrogators
before
give
we
you
get
food
started
and
that
drinks
you
and
just haven't
stuff.
told me?
I
Just
think
'cause
it's
I
to
haven't
get you
asked the question
calm.
right or something?
The interrogator is trying to get
She's
Susan to
building a
confess to
mountain on
possibly
that chair,
more
believe me.
crimes by telling her that they're hiding information.
She's got
and cause
pants
her to fail the
on.
polygraph.
How
He
does that
leaves her alone and
happen?
asks her to think about that while he's gone.
Hot. Oh, is this the moment of truth? I don't see anything.
Oh. Whatever.
Susan wipes feces off the chair with her hand,
Oh.
and then uses her hands to wipe her face
Ooh,
with the
no.
Okay, Susan.
It happened, Rose.
Just stand up for a second, and I'll move that chair just a little bit. I want your arm up here like this, okay?
The interrogator discovers Susan had gone to the bathroom in her pants.
Okay. What's that right there? Is
Oh
that,
my
is
God.
that something on the chair? Or?
No, that's something on me, which I hadn't done in 60 plus years.
Okay.
And that was totally, I think the camera's in that thing there, totally your fault.
She blames another officer, claiming she had to use the restroom hours ago. However, she never is heard asking to use the bathroom and wouldn't have been denied permission. This is extremely
He was
odd
so
behavior
calm.
and suggests
It's
she may be more
crazy
mentally
that
ill than she comes across.
he addressed that.
No, it doesn't
But I guess he
matter. I'll
has to.
discover later. Okay. Okay, there's a few questions on this test that have to do with, you're going to answer
She sat
truthfully,
back
and
in
I'm
it. I would never.
Is your first
Oh
name
my
Susan?
God.
No.
Answer truthfully now.
Yes.
Okay. Are you currently sitting down?
No. Yes.
See, if you're going to mess with my test, we wasted a couple hours.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
I would have lost
Susan
it
is
too.
intentionally answering the baseline questions incorrectly. She seems to have no real desire to take this test seriously.
And I don't know how long it would take you to find out, but Susan Monica is not my name of birth.
Oh.
I will say that, but I think
Oh, okay. Well, that's no problem.
I will say that it has been that for the last 40 years.
Oh, that's an easy one. Let me, that's important. Let me change that. Well, what is your real name?
I'm not saying.
Like, yeah, how do you just be in there and you don't smell it?
Sets up the polygraph examination and has to reset the machine multiple times because Susan complains that it isn't comfortable. Finally, he begins to conduct the test.
Okay, Susan, this test is about to begin. Please sit still. Try not to talk. Just answer my questions, yes or no.
Yes.
Do you intend to answer all questions about Robert's death with the truth?
Yes.
Not including this investigation? Have you ever lied to police or any other authority?
No.
Well, you did earlier. You lied earlier. The fuck you mean no?
It's hard to sit still.
Did you injure Robert before the pigs began to eat him?
No.
Do you know of any place on your property where there are body parts from any other person?
No.
During the test, Susan is fidgeting and moving her body frequently. She didn't seem to have as much of a problem with sitting still during the interrogation and may be trying to move around to make the test results useless or inaccurate, as he specifically asked her to sit still during the exam. However, extra intakes of breath can often be an involuntary response to the fight or flight response occurring, as the body needs additional oxygen.
Do you ever get violent towards other
Hard to sit
people
still. You're
without
sitting still for hours, right?
Not including Robert? Have your pigs eaten on any other person that you know of?
No.
Are you withholding any information concerning how Robert was actually first injured?
No.
Sitting still and taking it up. Like I was paying attention. I couldn't tell when she did it.
This portion of the test is complete. Please sit still until I tell you to. Okay, go ahead and relax, Susan.
I didn't think I'd be this nervous when I was doing this.
Well, there's 3 separate times there where you've taken huge breaths, moved, and just...
Yes, I know.
Are you going to be able to cooperate? Or?
I thought I was. At this point, I'm not sure.
Okay. Is there something going through your mind during the test that's causing you to not be able to be calm?
Just the situation itself.
Okay. All these questions we've gone over before. They shouldn't be...
I realize that, but trying to sit here and be still and just saying yes and no is more trouble than I thought it would be.
The polygraph has to be redone because Susan was unable to sit still and was breathing heavily during it.
Do you intend to answer all questions about Robert's death with the truth?
Yes.
During the second round of the test, Susan begins heavily coughing at the end. This is a way to sabotage the polygraph test.
Hitting with the oh shucks,
During
oh
the second
jeez.
attempt, it seems even more obvious she's trying
Gee
to sabotage
willikers.
the test and is more uncooperative than the first time. However, it's important to note that though the coughing and heavy breathing may be an attempt to mess up the test, it could also be because Susan is experiencing anxiety and may not be a deliberate attempt to skew the results.
It's the fakest cough I've ever heard. Oh, goddamn.
They do odd extra breathing and sniffing behaviors to bring in more oxygen. And this may be what is happening with Susan. Ultimately, it's unclear if Susan's behavior during the polygraph was intentional or not.
Typing it out.
The test is not usable for the most part, but the interrogator has been able to obtain some data. He's understandably unwilling to retest.
It's like she's trying to hold in her fart or, you know, stop.
Oh well, I was trying to relax and it wasn't working.
Okay. So you weren't having these troubles because you didn't want to take the test, right?
No. No, I was trying to cooperate.
Here's what I do have, okay? There's a little bit of data that I was looking at on there. Not enough for me to make an opinion, but enough to make me concerned about a couple.
She did it hours ago and then blamed the other hours.
Most of the time, people have those kinds of reactions during the test, almost exactly.
I love how she acts surprised by it too. Like, oh, how did that get there?
Okay. For whatever reason, they're scared of the consequences. They don't know where to begin. They feel like they've done something wrong, or they've been lying to the police all along, and they don't know how to get past that. Well, I just want to tell you that I feel for your situation, but I also don't believe you've told everything to the detectives today. I think you know some more. That's my opinion.
Here, the detective is using the positive confrontation step of the Reed technique. This involves directly confronting the suspect with a statement that it is known they are involved in the crime.
I think you even said at times
What
that
the
your
hell?
anxiety, when it comes apart, it's just something that people can't control. And
Yes.
you're not on medication for it.
Right.
I understand.
Like I said, that is part of the reason I can't sit still, I guess, too.
But you
Because
said
I have been here for that.
you said you
that
were
long.
homicidal and not suicidal during that.
Yes.
The interrogator uses Susan's
Oh.
own words to confront her about his doubts and suspicions about her character and involvement.
Susan, was your thinking that if you left his body out in that pen long enough that almost everything would be destroyed and then you would have less to take care of? Like the pigs would be a cleanup crew, they'd do what they do, like you said?
I could have left them. I could have left him there for longer,
Oh.
and that would be true. But I couldn't do it.
Susan may have slipped up here big time. She says, I could have left them. Though she's talking about Robert, she uses a plural descriptor.
Oh my
possibly
goodness.
indicating that
Oh
there's
my
more
goodness.
than one victim who's been fed to her pigs. She fixes the mistake by switching back to him because it's only supposed to be Robert she's talking about.
2 days, you said, though. 2
Yes.
days later, you went out there.
Yes. Well, I mean, I saw him out there, and it made me sick. I didn't actually throw up, but it made me feel sick. Even though he was no longer a person.
More than one body? Question mark?
Some body parts. Even though there were some body parts.
He uses he, they pronouns, guys. What do you mean? She's clearly innocent.
I could no longer.
Maybe that leg isn't Robert's leg. That's what the suspicion is.
But for 2 days, you left him out there so they could do that.
Yes.
Like, couldn't they just DNA test?
It was somewhat difficult.
Holy hell, is she a serial killer? I mean, seems like it, doesn't it?
The situation that you're in, it's not good. I mean, even after.
I realize my situation is not good.
Even
not
after
good.
the death.
Yes.
To allow animals to feed on a corpse is a crime.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, they're
Wait,
probably going to do
it is?
Yes.
But right now,
Not that I would ever do that, but
Yes.
He presents her with
didn't
a last
realize.
opportunity to confess. This is said to apply a feeling of pressure and urgency to her confessing, and to make it seem like it's in the best interest to do so.
I'm telling you,
Only
what I
s-
think
serial
is that
killers
you're
shit
not
their
the
pants and
truth.
clean it with their
I
bare
think
hands.
you're
That's
holding
barely
your
even
breath.
cleaning. She just goes,
I truly believe
aw
that.
shucks.
Whether it's
She just
about,
swipes it and then touches her
I don't know,
face.
if they find other body parts from other people, then you know the situation you'd be in, and because of your actions afterwards.
Yeah.
And because
You ever
of the
just
things
see
you said
someone
before.
before your very eyes and you think to yourself, man,
Well,
as a human being, I am so very different. Everything about my life is so very different than hers.
When then it turns around and it actually happens, that's not too good for you.
No, I definitely know that. I do not know.
You probably shot him while he's in the pit.
Wipe this shit on a napkin, use the same napkin to clean her face. Yup.
For whatever
She's
reason.
testing the scent. Yeah. Tastes
The more you
like
talk,
pork.
the
I mean,
less
smells like
believe
pork.
That you're ever going to be truthful with me about it. So I think you should talk to somebody else, okay?
He's trying to keep her confidence level low and make her understand that her story isn't believable before going into an interrogation with
Hi,
another
chat.
detective.
Just came back from figuring
This
out
will put
which
her in a
group
better
I'm going to be
position
forced to
mentally
work
for
with
them
in
to try
band
to get
class.
a
My teacher
confession.
hates me. What did I miss?
I think
She
you're
pooped in her
helpful
chair.
and you're telling them about Robert's death, and that's all I'm asking you about.
Yeah.
And you're missing your best chance to tell them now before they either prove it otherwise, or later on you figure out, now I better tell them the truth because I'm facing something serious, and I think you missed your chance.
She what? Yes, correct.
I gotta go take a break.
I can guarantee you she's guilty.
She pooed her
Just
pants.
that, you can convict somebody over.
They gotta throw that chair out.
I'll send someone else in here to talk.
Okay. Yeah.
But you need to tell them the truth. You're leaving stuff out, and you and I know it. You and I know it. It's not subconscious, Susan. You're leaving it out.
I might be, but I really can't.
No, you are. Tell them the whole story. Tell them.
I don't know what else it would be. I just, no.
Yes, you do.
I found him out in the pen, dying.
Yeah. But what happened before? That's what you're leaving out.
I didn't even see him until that day.
Uh-oh, Boopy.
Susan sighs heavily multiple times while alone in the interrogation room, indicating that she's feeling very stressed. Her arms are wrapped around her torso in a protective position, which may be comforting for her. It appears that Susan is berating herself, possibly for not being able to complete the polygraph test.
Look at her arms crossed, like basically pouting.
Would have believed her story. Of course, it's also possible that she's just putting on an act for the camera as a ploy for sympathy. It seems that she's still sitting in her soiled pants, as she was not offered any opportunity to change clothes after the last detective discovered she had an accident.
That's so weird.
She should have been given a chance to clean up. One of the original interrogators returns to continue questioning Susan in the hopes that she will finally tell them something.
Apparently she doesn't care because she's just carrying on. If that were me, not that I would shit my pants, but I'd be like, dude, if you don't let me change right now, you're not getting another word.
I don't know. I do not know. I do not know.
Big mini interrogator.
Did he ever feed the pigs?
To my knowledge, no.
Did he ever go out and in the pen that you
To my knowledge, no.
So you can see how when we listen to what you're saying,
I know
it
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
And so when you come out and you see your pigs eating Robert, and he's still alive.
Yes.
For us to hear that, it's not even possible. No one here is outside this office, people out there, no one would believe that. If you take anybody and you put them in a pig pen.
She sat in it for hours not saying anything. You think she's going to say anything now? That's a nope. That's a nope.
If I start getting
to her knowledge.
I'm going to try to get out of here.
To her knowledge, no.
I'm not going to lay down on the ground.
To her very poor recollection, no.
Until I can't move and then have someone come shoot me in the head.
All this time, Brady was trying to be vague, relaying Susan's jokes to investigators, while at the same time defending her and contradicting his statements. The discovery is finally revealed to him for the first time.
So it's been brought to my attention, okay, that there's quite a few of us out there, okay. There's some people already out there kind of doing their thing, okay. And for what I've been
her
told,
selective dementia, yep.
There's no doubt about it. They found a human body part out on the property, okay.
Are you kidding me?
No, dead straight. Dead straight. I'm not going to kid around. That's a pretty serious thing.
You're serious? Oh my God.
What's up with that?
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't even believe it.
It's true.
Oh yeah, well, it's, yeah, we don't bullshit.
Do you guys believe this guy?
You guys didn't know.
Well, we don't.
We just starting, okay? And that's why I'm like, you're a straight up guy. I'm gonna come in here and figure out what's going on because you've been out on that property.
How could the body not get? Wow. Are you serious, you guys?
Yes. Now, one thing you find out about us, we don't bullshit people, so we're not gonna come in and make something up. Not gonna do it.
I don't know what to say. Wow.
Yeah.
Who might have found this at?
I don't know. Why?
I just don't know if you.
Ask me. I don't have no idea.
I haven't been.
I'm shocked that they found his body.
They found body parts.
Oh.
That's what I've been told.
Ooh. Did he tell on himself?
And you've been on the property for a while now. So that's why I'm asking
That's
you.
horrendous, you guys. That is horrendous.
You ever hear Susan talk about it?
No.
I'm surprised they didn't question
Susan's
him.
own use of repeating words, Brady
Where he said him, you guys found him?
He's trying to convince the investigators that he's speaking the truth.
That's what he was expecting. Ooh.
And I'm gonna be honest.
Why would they find him, huh?
That is shocking.
Do you know something? I'm not saying that you did anything, I'm wondering if
Wow, I
you might know
have
more than
no
what you want to know.
idea.
Back
Wow,
in
I can't
Susan's
believe this.
interrogation, the case is about to take an unexpected turn.
Ooh.
I don't know how to do this without.
You do it the way that you need to. I'm here to listen, and I'm just going to listen to what you have to say right now, okay?
The detective is trying to act supportive by telling Susan that he's there to listen to her. He
I'm
reaches out
all
his hand
in. I
across
want
the
her
table
to tell
towards
the truth
Susan,
so
a
bad.
gesture of support and understanding, almost as if he's holding her hand through this. The detective is doing a good job keeping his voice calm and his cadence slow. His tone is very non-judgmental. All of this will make it easier for Susan to open up.
It doesn't make sense. Just like Robert, it doesn't make sense. I have told you everything truthfully about Robert. I don't know how his body got out there to start with.
How his body got out there, not how he got out there. Ooh.
Finally, after hours of interrogation wearing her down, Susan is about to reveal another disturbing secret she has kept hidden all this time.
Oh, God, give me another piece of paper.
Oh.
There's part of another body.
Oh.
Okay? His name is Steve.
What?
But who was Steve? The year before Robert went missing in 2012, 59-year-old Stephen Delacino, also a handyman, had worked on Susan's property. It's unclear exactly when he vanished. If you found Susan's explanation of Robert's death bizarre, get ready, because her story about Stephen is somehow even stranger.
Anybody come around asking about him?
No.
How did you meet him?
He was one of those people that just showed up to work. And,
well, now you say showed up. Was it like from a, help wanted?
Yes. I think he was a couple years older than me.
What's the structure you're talking about here?
Oh, this is the barn, and then this is the area. This is the fence. He's on the other side of the fence.
Right on the other side of the fence.
Right on the other side of the fence, about there.
Okay.
She likely isn't drawing out where the body is to be helpful so they can locate it easier, but by drawing a map, she can have a distraction and something to look at besides the detective while discussing this. It's easier for someone to confess while looking away or while busy with something
You
else.
keep in mind that these are
than it
real
is to
victims.
confess
This is so
eye to
sad.
eye
That
with
is
nothing
true.
to
Those are
distract
real
them from
ass
what is being
human
revealed.
beings.
Additionally, her map
And it's
makes
gonna
the
be
focus more on
fucked up
where it
that
happened rather than what happened.
I guess people weren't looking for the second guy,
It was the skull and
which is really sad.
a couple other things I don't remember.
Okay.
Pieces of other bone.
Steve was a thief.
Oh.
He stole a lot of things from people.
Susan alleges that Steve stole guns from her and that she confronted him about the theft because she wanted to know where they were so she could get them back.
He apparently knew where my little pistol still was because he reached over and grabbed it. We started to have a little tussle, nothing big to start with.
The following explanation is one of the most bizarre.
They said no one really knew he went missing,
stories
so he
we've
might have
ever
lived
seen
alone.
in an
Oh man.
interrogation.
So you guys are wrestling.
So he grabbed the little pistol, and he said that he doesn't want to go back to jail, and he decided he was going to kill himself.
What?
So he shot himself in the head.
Right there in your home.
Right there.
Where did he shoot himself in the head at?
Well, that was the whole stupid thing. He shot himself, and then he ran out.
It's playing Hollow Knight. What happened? She claimed another guy on her farm.
Kill you, but it would certainly hurt.
When she confronted him about stealing her guns, decided, I don't want to go back to jail, and shot himself.
He went out of the room. That was when it got even worse. Okay? And he emptied the gun in his own head. I could not believe it. But it's just a 22 with a little 1-inch barrel.
Cap.
And it was just going boom, boom, and...
Did she walked out? No.
Susan verifies certain details about her story, saying that Stephen shot himself in the top of the head multiple times. During this altercation, she claims she was wrestling with him for the gun and holding onto his arm.
after a fashion, he managed to do it. And basically I did the same thing, which, like I say, it doesn't make any damn sense at all why two people would end up in my pig pen.
Yeah.
Wait.
So what happened with him in the pig pen?
Wait. I was a little bit distracted because I was looking for a cap emote. But is she saying that he somehow wandered into the pig pen? While it does happen, I'm calling Cap. Cap.
Him, I did leave him out there for quite a while, until there was practically nothing left.
Like how long's it left?
I left him there for a couple of weeks.
Susan tells the investigator that she gathered up all the animal bones on her property and dug a hole to bury them, along with some of Stephen's bones.
My good old neighbors, they saw me throwing bones in a hole, so they called you.
Yeah.
When her neighbors called the police, they arrived to investigate the hole she had dug.
I said they were buried about 2 feet down.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a bullet and like emptying the entire magazine of a gun into yourself.
Notice that Susan is now mirroring how the detective is sitting. This is what he wanted her to do, and it's why he's been sitting like that for the majority of the interrogation.
I probably knew him more than anyone else.
Okay. Really? For how long?
No, 5 years.
Steve?
Yeah. He wanted to go ahead and leave, go to California for a while, and then possibly to this house that he had in Florida, which I did not believe in the slightest. Is why would you be
living here?
Why would you be living in a rundown trailer here?
Sure.
He gave me his food stamp card. Okay. He gave me
food stamp cards and beer.
He said he was leaving to give me a ride. That was when I confronted him.
You may have noticed a pattern here. That in Susan's version of events, these accidents seem to occur around the time when both of these men tried to leave her property. The detectives verify Susan's story and point out the inconsistencies. Then they focus on one of the glaring issues.
So he was holding it away from his head? Because a contact wound makes a much different
They've been interrogating her for hours, and yeah, usually those last a long time.
It wasn't a contact wound.
Susan's claim that the shot was not a contact wound makes her story that Steve took his own life highly unlikely, especially combined with the claim that he shot himself 5 times in the head. Susan realizes she needs to claim the shot wasn't close range, as the detective informed her earlier that the wound would look different on the skull, depending on how far away the gun was when Steve was shot. It appears that Susan has tailored her story to fit the evidence the police will find when they examine the skull.
So are you holding him and he's facing you and you're trying to get the gun?
I was holding his arm.
Susan claims that the scuffle over the gun occurred in her bedroom and that Steve shot himself in the head once before running to the barn. She then clarifies that he didn't shoot himself the first time until he was outside of her room, likely because she knows that the forensics will not match her story.
Was Steve dead when the pigs started eating him?
I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
No, he was dead.
Well, he shot himself the 5 times, but
Yeah.
what happened after he's shooting himself? What's happening?
Well, he finally...
Her story is a beat.
And he just died there.
Her story, bro.
And I just left him there, and I didn't know what the hell to do.
She claims that by the time she returned to the barn, the pigs had come through the open gate and dragged Steve's body towards the pen, and that the animals had started licking the blood off of him. Instead of getting the pigs away from him, she says that she just let the pigs drag him all the way into the pen and begin eating him. It wasn't
She's
until
so
later
full of
that she built a
it.
wall to separate the barn from the pen.
Hey, remember me? Was in here earlier. How you doing? You all right?
too many bubbles.
Oh, a little gas coming
Yeah.
out.
This is going to sound even more stupid than anything else, but one of my problems, that stupid silver thing over there is crooked, and I can't stand looking at it.
It's
Bro.
possible that when things are not the way Susan wants them to be, it triggers her anxiety. It's also possible that this was her way of gaining some control in a very out-of-control situation.
Is that better?
A little
Better?
more better.
That's about all I can do.
Yeah.
So
The detective scoots closer to Susan. By increasing his proximity, he's putting the pressure on her. This may be especially stressful for Susan because of her reported anxiety
Stalling?
and dislike of
Yeah,
people in
probably.
general.
I pick up
I leave
stuff
for a
like
fat
that,
second. This woman's still yapping, yeah.
Sometimes little things bother
Sure,
me.
sure talks a lot for somebody that doesn't want to say the
I
truth.
go into a store and I see papers ajar, and I take all the papers and straighten them up and make it all nice and... It's stupid, but things like that bug the hell out of me.
She's such a liar.
Bed, food, trash.
Is that food on her bed?
Papers,
What the hell, dude?
baseball cards.
How do you put a dirty pan on your bed?
Oh, working on the polygraph.
That's a fire waiting to happen.
They
Probably
spend a
all
few
crusty and
minutes
dry
recounting
now.
everything Susan
Cease!
stated about Robert and Steve before the investigator confronts her about the possibility of more horrifying finds being discovered on her farm.
And what happens when we
Twitch
find
streamer
a third
house.
person?
You will not find a third person.
We won't find one, or is there one that we can't
My room
find?
be looking like that right now, no
Not
lie.
find. I do not know if he went into the pen voluntarily or somebody possibly put him into the pen because they heard me talking all of my
Yuki's button enclosure be like,
I
bruh.
realize you're more stupid every time I tell them.
Right, especially after it actually happened, right?
Yes.
Do you think I believe your story?
No.
Do you think Detective Henderson believes your story?
No.
Do you think...
I don't believe my story.
You don't
Horrendous.
believe it
No. It's too stupid.
either?
It's...
I'm gonna leave. Okay. I'm gonna leave right now, and I'm gonna come back in, or have Detective Henderson come back in. But I want you to think about everything that's gone on right now. Okay.
No.
Can you stand up for me?
No, nobody did that.
She's too quirky,
so
y'all.
I can't see how that
Can you
would...
stand up for me?
I can't see how that...
I'm gonna handcuff you.
Oh,
Your hands gotta go back far.
oh.
No,
After
the
being
poop
arrested
napkin
and
is
spending
gone.
the night in jail, Susan is brought back to the interrogation room the next day to continue talking with investigators. As you'll soon see, they want more than just clarity about the deaths of Steve and Robert, because they suspect something even more sinister may have occurred.
Can I say something really quick for you, sir?
Yes.
Because we went through a lot yesterday.
Yes.
And so I just want you to know that, you know, if you don't want to talk to us, you don't have to.
Bald! Bald!
That's fine. We can just go back to jail. That's up to you.
No,
You're here because you want to be.
Yes.
So,
Do you think she's
that
sitting in a
being
clean
said,
chair now?
We can't do what we did yesterday. We spent way too much time beating around the bush and all that. We were spending all day today going through your property. A lot of things have changed since last night. So I don't want you to waste my time today, okay?
Okay.
And we don't want to waste yours either.
No.
All right?
No.
So I'll let you know that.
What I had been trying to forget, I remembered laying there.
Mm-hmm.
Same poop chair.
When I came
She poo-poos in the new one.
his head was towards the west.
Mm-hmm.
He was belly up, and the pigs were on him. I tried to shoot them off, and I went up to get my gun. And in those 2 minutes, when I got back, I think he did die. I'm pretty sure he did die.
So now you're saying that you know that he was dead when you got back?
Well, that was the thing. I'm pretty sure he was then.
Did you check?
No.
This is a pretty big deviation from her previous story about how she put Robert out of his misery. While it is possible she's telling the truth, An alternative is that she's trying to escape more severe punishment by claiming that he was already dead when she shot him.
Okay, let's talk about Steve. What are the forensics going to show on that? Because they're most certainly not going to show what you told us. You remember what happened? You talked to us about the struggling with the gun, which, by the way, is about this big.
Yeah,
I don't know how that struggle went down, fighting over a little teeny tiny.
Woman had all night to try and get her story straight. Yeah.
I'm saying that this is why I'm saying, like, this stuff, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just flat out impossible the way that you describe things.
Susan shifts her foot, which is likely an anchor point movement because she realizes that the detective isn't believing her story.
Impossible.
You've dug him up?
They're up there working on stuff right now. I haven't seen him yet.
Okay, when you dig him up, you will find a bunch of holes in his head.
Where? On the top?
I was like,
You're holding his hand up. He's holding the gun up.
Yes.
So he's somehow going to reach back around and point the gun back at the top of his head when you're holding his arm.
What?
He's going to reach down or angle his hand down enough and overpower you, who are significantly bigger than him. You are. And you have great upper body strength, like you said. And he's going to reach down. He's going to shoot himself in the top of the head.
Yes.
And that's where we're at.
What
How
the
did you
fuck?
manage to shoot 5 out of 5 shots into his head?
You were saying that you thought that when a person is shot that it causes a lot of damage and that it would kill them. So maybe that first shot just wasn't enough and that's why you had to shoot him more than once.
That's the whole thing, yes.
What?
That's it, yes.
And that makes a lot more sense than a struggle over someone's head that...
Oh, no, I didn't shoot him.
Physical.
I didn't shoot him 5 times. I'm saying we struggled and it went off. He emptied the gun.
Susan, that's just not possible.
She looks like Schmeagle, my precious
And I'm not concerned about...
Mr. Clean. Stop. Stop. I feel old yet? Stop. She's so full of it.
It just does not make sense.
The more she comes up with BS, the more I just don't like her.
And maybe there's a reason for it.
Would you sit still while I fired 5 shots at your head?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. That's
what I'm saying.
That's the point we're making right there.
That's what I'm trying to say to you is...
Taser gun, no, shush.
Shot one time, that alone would probably incapacitate them. They wouldn't fire off another round to their head and keep shooting at their own head or not move enough to get away from the I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Sorry if you hear me messing with my fan, it's pissing me off.
It's really important for us to understand.
Are we good now, fan? Please?
And we want to believe
Please?
what you're telling us.
Please.
Right now,
Okay, I think we're good.
I do not believe I did anything else to Steve.
Oddly, Susan prefaces her statement with the words "right now." This type of language is a huge red
Well, I mean,
flag, as an innocent person would be adamant.
this
in
did happen
speaking
like,
their
what,
language.
2012?
Alternatively, she may be hinting that she has
Piggies
forgotten
aren't
what happened
immortal.
because it was traumatic, or even implying that she dissociated during the event, maybe due to a panic attack. However, it's just as likely that she may want more time to think, so she's letting the detectives know that her story could change in the future.
Are you saying also that
Search your
maybe
stomachs for evidence,
more
maybe,
time you
maybe.
recollect other things
Maybe.
that happened on your property?
Everything's possible. I don't know.
We don't have a lot of time. It's not because we're not trying to give you time.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been trying to give you time, and it's not, we can't take years to give you time to, remember things that happened.
I did not feel guilty about committing murder in either case.
Oh.
At this point.
The joke became reality.
Mm-hmm. But you continued to make that joke even after it became reality.
You even said that to me. You said you were going to kill me and feed me to your pigs. That actually, I didn't even know what to say. I'm a police officer. I didn't even know what to say. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa. Did she really just say that?
Susan's voice becomes more stressed, and she breathes heavily again, which is shown to be her
Minecraft,
sign
bro.
of serious distress. She struggles to get the words out, which is very unusual for her because she typically has a response or explanation for everything. Her struggle could also be due to her growing frustration. Susan's relatively flat demeanor is about to crack, and you'll soon see her freak out.
Over there at the jail, you know, one of the girls has got hair all the way down to her.
Someone who works there? Or
yes.
Oh, okay.
One of the guards. She's got hair all the way down to her. Okay? And my stupid brain went into gear, and I told her, hey, I could grab your hair and strangle you with it.
Oh my gosh, why would you say that?
I don't know. It's this thing in here.
Sometimes it just comes out.
It just comes out.
Susan seems to be highly impulsive and has little to no filter. So
hell?
if she thinks something, she just says it, even if her comments are offensive or threatening. What Susan is describing is possibly what is known as an intrusive thought. It's important to note that the individual with the intrusive thought does not want to act on the thought, which is why they find the idea so distressing. The fact that Susan verbalized this thought in the moment to the guard with the long hair is somewhat unusual, though. Intrusive thoughts usually remain internal, as they may cause
Had
the
a bunch
person
of
to feel
ass
shame
hair.
or embarrassment. This may go back to Susan's difficulty with understanding and navigating social interactions.
Now, a woman's like me has
Susan
hair
could be
down,
putting on an
hair
act
so
to
long
make
it
look
goes
like she's
all the
upset
way
by
to your
these
butt
thoughts,
cheeks.
when in actuality, she's unbothered.
You probably
and
could
even
strangle
enjoys
me
the
with my hair,
reaction she
actually.
gets from other people when she says the thoughts out loud. This brief emotional meltdown provides a window into how Susan likely responds when she's under stress, and may show us how she quickly becomes angry and snaps if she feels
Hush your
cornered and is
ball.
unable to cope with a
I've
situation.
had it up to
This is an
here.
indication of
You hair
Susan's
haters.
overall low
I have
frustration
hair.
tolerance and inability to handle stress.
It just comes out.
When that happens, do you feel like you don't have control?
The female detective again tries to float the accident or mercy killing theory, and Susan finally latches onto it.
Yes. It just comes
It just
out.
happens and you can't
yes.
stop it.
I mean, it's stupid, but it just comes out. Same thing with him. I have no intention of killing him. I have no intentions of killing Steve. I did have the intention of finishing off Robert.
Finishing off.
I know how he got in there, why he got in there, or anything.
I guarantee there's more people on your property. I guarantee it. With what I know right now. What are we supposed to do? Just ignore that?
What do I get for the guarantee?
Susan seems to be now proposing a quid pro quo for her confessing to more murders. A Latin phrase that literally translates to this for that, or something for something, to get information from a suspect. A quid pro quo in this context is when the interrogator gives the suspect something that either seems to be a secret or is a favor, like a cigarette in exchange for something the interrogators want from the suspect, which is usually information. The quid pro quo may be very blatant, like, you tell me this and we will tell you or give you that. Or it may be more subtle, such as telling the suspect they can have a cigarette, but first let's talk about this or clear this up.
What do you want for the guarantee? What are you talking about?
I mean, you're making a mess out of my place.
But there's more people out there.
Well,
are we supposed to leave them?
You're saying you are saying you're guaranteeing there's more people out on my property.
Yes, that's.
Am I going to get $150,000 to fix up my place after you've messed it up?
If we find one person, it's worth messing up the property. It's a human being.
I am saying if you do not find anybody out there.
I'm almost positive we're going to.
I'm saying if you do not find anybody out there.
We already know there's two.
I'm saying if you do not find anybody out there, are you going to pay me $150,000 to put it back the way it was?
No, absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying. There's no guarantee of nothing here.
Well, what
Bruh.
do you want?
I don't want you messing up my place after me and Steve have put so much into it.
There's 2 dead people on your property. Are we not supposed to look for more? Obviously, there's probably more. And what are we supposed to do? Just ignore that?
You're saying everything is obvious. I don't know how it's obvious.
It's obvious to me. You have 100 people come and go on your property in 20 years, and you expect me to believe there's no one else there? Not possible. If people come
I hate
and go
this
and
just
they're
chewing with her
kind of
mouth
transient
open.
types, and they may not be close ties with their family, so people aren't going to report them missing sometimes. We've got to look at that group of people. We would not be doing our jobs if we didn't unearth every square inch of your property to look for people.
He's got a point.
If we don't do that, we're not doing our jobs, because what if we miss someone?
A key point here is that Susan doesn't consider human life to be as valuable as the detective is expressing. Susan has made her beliefs very
Pooch hair
clear when it comes to
queen
human life,
mukbang.
such as her comments on overpopulation. What is meaningful to the detective probably makes no sense to Susan, and she's likely wondering why they're making such a fuss just to find a body or 2.
Now, if I knew exactly where those people were at, we wouldn't go make a mess, would we? We'd know exactly where to look.
Just like when you were to look for Robert.
Then we dig up a little hole and we get the person out, and that's the end of it. But you don't want that. You want to say, well, I don't know if there could be 12 bodies out there. I don't know.
I want you to go out and find the best GPR there is in this planet.
We don't need to.
And use it not to dig up my property.
It's getting dug up. We have to.
The detectives know how important Susan's land is to her, and this may be a manipulation tactic to get her to admit if and where any other bodies are buried.
Hey man, have you seen that Amazon Killer episode? Yeah.
Is a huge trigger for Susan.
Yeah, I
So
have.
if anything will get her to admit to another body being there, it will likely be this.
If you know that there's somebody out there, you're just not telling me because you don't want to get in trouble or whatever, that's fine. We're going to find the people because we're going to dig it up.
But you're saying for a fact that you're going to find people out there. I am saying.
I can almost 100% guarantee you that, Susan.
And I am saying
Yeah.
for the other
Despicable.
0.5% that you're not finding anybody out there.
Okay.
And you're making a big mess out of my place.
We're going to look.
So we have.
I sure don't want you digging up my damn dog.
I understand
We know that.
I understand that.
What if there's somebody underneath your dog? What are we supposed to do? I don't want to desecrate your dog's grave. That's special to you. But you have...
That was 15 years ago.
I understand that.
You're saying that for the last 15 years I've been killing people?
No, not at all. I'm saying there could be other dead people on your property. And if you know about it, you better just tell me now.
I don't.
And save us all this, of things that we have to do. We know that there's 2 dead people there. We also know that we don't know how many more there are. So we are going to dig and look until we make sure that we have checked every square inch of that 20 acres, and we know for sure there's no one there. The only way to do that is to go hands-on.
So a dog's life seems to matter more to her than the many people she killed. Yup.
What else are we supposed to do? You tell us. Unless we had someone to say, here's a map. There's somebody there. Or I think there might be somebody over here. I don't know how they got there, but they're there.
That's what I just said. And now you're saying you're not going to do it.
Because it's just a general area. Sure, you showed us where Robert was, and you showed us where Steve was. Yeah, we went and looked at Robert today. Sure enough, there he was, right where you said it.
Steve was in a hole. Robert was in a bag.
Yeah.
Okay. I told you where both were.
Okay.
Okay. I told you where the dog is. I told you where the llamas are. You can run the little thing over the top of it. Oh.
True, Seth. True.
That's one little area. 20 acres. You can see the task at hand for us. That's why we have 1 billion people out there, and we're going to bring in whatever we have to.
And you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this stupid
thing? To find a person, sure.
Susan sounds shocked that so many resources would go into finding these bodies. Again, this shows the little value she places on human life, and likely explains how she was able to take the lives of these men.
Well, the worst is done. If you killed somebody and they're out there, or there's somebody dead out there, they're dead. We can't bring them back.
But see, that you're saying something and you're not backing it up with a damn thing. Are you going to sign a piece of paper saying,
what am I
don't,
supposed to
if you
back up with?
If
that I'm
you
going to quit my job?
Yes. Yes.
I don't have to.
You just said you would if you didn't find anybody.
I'm just telling you, I don't have to. I'm that confident that there's people out there.
Okay, if you're that confident, sign a piece of paper saying, if I don't find somebody out there, at least one person out there, I'm going to quit.
And this is why I don't get you, is when you continue to be
hostile.
Hostile.
Okay.
You continue to put up a fight.
Yes.
Because
I don't want my place looking a mess.
Because you care more about animals than you do people.
To some extent, yes.
Okay.
I also
the people that came to your place were not that great of people at times. They would be what society would probably consider the lowlifes, the drinkers, the people that have problems, people who get arrested.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And people who steal and screw people over.
And I took care of a lot of them. I gave them a helping hand.
Are you telling me out of 100 people that came to your place that are transients and have problems and maybe mostly drunk issues, it sounds like, not necessarily drug issues, it sounds like you might have kept your way away from those people.
Worry about my place looking a mess. Has a bunch of food all over her bed, right? She's just full of shit.
Accept to come work at your place, and out of those 100, only 2 of them ended up
Come on,
dead.
mate. She just wants her pigsty to say die. Truly.
If I've been doing this for years, wouldn't I be getting better at it?
That's usually how people get caught, is they do something that leads them to get caught.
Susan was arrested on January 14th, 2014 for 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of abuse of a corpse, and 1 count of identity theft. Susan wasn't done with her crazy admissions, though. During an interview, Susan allegedly admitted to burying 17 more bodies somewhere on her farm.
No.
This prompted almost a month of searching, including investigators digging around 50 holes in the hopes of uncovering more of her victims. Ultimately, though, it was determined that there were no more bodies hidden on her farm.
What?
There is speculation that Susan said this as one of her twisted jokes, or to intentionally frustrate investigators. Eventually, Susan's pigs were all euthanized.
No!
She was reportedly irate when she found out, especially because they were killed instead of their meat being donated to a food pantry.
What'd they do with the pigs? Why'd they euthanize the pigs?
All charges, and represented herself when the case went to trial. She actually cross-examined the lead investigator and consistently interrupted the trial, so much so that she had to be removed from the courtroom on several occasions.
Damn,
None of
she's
Susan's
stubborn.
explanations for either Robert's or Stephen's deaths matched the horrific evidence.
So she
It was
never
uncovered that Robert's
came
legs
clean.
had been removed with an axe, while Stephen had been shot 3 or 4 times in the head. It didn't help that while in prison,
That was
Susan signed a
Robert's
birthday
leg.
card from the sweetest murderer in Jackson County, another sign of what she called her sense of humor. In 2015, Susan Monaco was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to 2 consecutive 25-year prison terms, totaling a 50-year sentence with no chance of parole.
Bye, bitch. She killed the pigs in a way. I mean, they did consume people. Pigs could be tainted with... Even though the dogs think it's bullshit. Animal control to kill an animal for harming humans, even if they're dead? And who knows what disease? Is that true? Better make sure my kitty never gets a taste for human flesh. And long live Gibbert. All right, but your final thoughts. Everybody. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. What'd you think? Do not let your pets eat flesh. They will turn into Susan. Poopy pants killer. That just ain't right. Final thoughts, poopy. Y'all really were having a time with the poopy pants situation. Bald, that's what I think. Stop, because then you're gonna be bald. Be nice. Very interesting. Sometimes I like true crime stories. I just woke up to Yuki saying poopy. Stop! Stop! You're full of it. You're full of bananas. Full of it. Okay, it's about dinner time, so this ghost needs to float off and consume energy. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching something interesting with me. Thanks for making me laugh. And etc. Take care, Gooligans. Thanks for watching.